Hey, everybody. Good to see you. Hi, Brian Boggs. Hello, Linda Ebert. Laura Wharton. Good to see you, love. It's April time. Hi, Matt Queen. Thank you so much. Oh my God, that's adorable. You guys are too good to me, seriously. Oh my gosh, I love you guys. Hi, CE. Good to see you. Oh my gosh, I don't know what my hair is doing. Oh my gosh, I found some fun. I can't wait to share it with all of you. So, we're going to watch it kind of twice because the first thing I'm going to do, because I get not everybody wants to stay up for the entire docket, you know. Hi, Stephanie Anderson. How you doing, honey? I promise I'm not muted. I know I'm not muted. Please check your mute button on your keyboard. But yeah, I know everybody doesn't want to stay up through the whole docket. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run just the clip of our wonderful, pretty sure Savsit by his teachings and knowledge. And then I'm going to run through and we're going to play the docket so that you can see all of his interesting mannerisms in between. Because the guy is interesting. That's the nice way. He's a unique character. And the judge, I like the judge. I do. And not all the calls are, wild and crazy and interesting, but I do like the judge, and I know we like sitting out dockets. So, and he is just kind of cool to watch. Let's call it like it is. He's like a specimen or something that we're studying. Hey, how's Palmyra Productions tonight? Good to see you, love. I'm happy you're here. April is up to very good. Oh, thank you. I debated on even wearing it or not, because I don't know. I'm not really into the whole animal print thing. But it's comfy. It's like a size or two too big for me, and I love that about it. But like if I stretch like all the way out, like the neckline just like, I don't know. It does what it wants to do sometimes. So I have to constantly fix it. But I do love it. It's so comfy. It's like my jammy top. Okay, so let's get right into the fun. Yes. Okay, as far as animal prints go, I love zebra, but I can't wear it. It does not do good things for me. But I love looking at it. Absolutely love looking at it. But it does very poor things for me. Hi, April. Good to see you, honey. See, oh my goodness, I'm so happy because I would not want you to miss the fun. And I knew I wasn't muted. this time. All right, let me find where I put this. Oh, and I fixed the issue where CapCut kept putting files in the wrong place where I could not find them. And I moved all of the fun out of the hidden folder. And now I have it putting stuff where it belongs. And yes, this man overstands.
Just 1 minute, Ms. Breeder. Are we ready on the Jeffco writ? Mr. Brown?
Yes, I'm ready.
All
I'm
right.
ready. I'm ready.
I want to make sure your attorney is ready too, Mr. Brown. So let's call Raymond Brown, 23M611.
Katie Wells for the people.
I
And
don't
Mackenzie
need
Russell on behalf of Mr. Brown.
it.
All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Brown.
Yeah. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing, sir?
I could be better. I could be better. I could be.
I think that's probably right. Well, let's see if we can get you moving in a positive direction here. Ms. Russell, we're set for an appearance of counsel. How did you want to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. So in speaking to Mr. Brown, it's my understanding that he wants to remove me from the case. I'm not sure if a Burgard hearing is required and if we have the capacity to do that today, but that is what Mr. Brown wants.
Okay. So, Mr. Brown, hold on, sir. I just have a question for you. I want to understand what the issue is. Do you want to represent yourself, or are you asking that I appoint a different attorney to represent you?
No, I don't. It's the same plea from the beginning. Like when I first came to court, it was a different public defender, but it was the same plea, and I would just accept the plea to plead guilty, and so there's no need. It's nothing that she can change or nothing she can make better or worse. It's nothing that she can do. You know what I mean? It's and talking to her for in the last month or two, it hasn't been she hasn't given me any new information, or it's no need if I'm just taking a plea, right? To my
So I
information.
guess I'm sorry. Again, Mr. Brown, I don't want to get too much into what you're talking about with your attorney. I just want to make sure I'm understanding the issue. So
I'm taking
the
a plea
issue is
deal.
that you got an offer from the DA last month.
Well, 2 months
And
ago.
you want a different offer. Is that what I'm understanding?
No, I got an offer 2 months ago, and
Okay.
I'm willing to accept the offer. So
Okay.
there's no need for you to through her to talk to me, right?
Well, let me ask you this, Mr. Brown. If you wanted to accept the offer, I'm happy to go through that with you. Would you like your attorney, though, to go through the paperwork with you so that if you have any questions about your rights, she can help you kind of answer any of those questions you might have?
No, I've already got the answers that I wanted to receive.
Okay, so do you want to represent yourself then in accepting this offer?
Well, I'm accepting the offer, right? I'm talking to you right now, right?
Well, I
Or do
don't even know what the offer is. I'm the judge, so I don't hear about offers
Oh, you
really
didn't
until
hear.
all the paperwork's done and we're ready for it.
I guess the first time it was a different judge as well. So I think it was a different judge and a different prosecutor. I mean, different public defender. So I guess I don't know what you guys are doing. I just wanted to get this process going. I mean, if she wants to stay there and help me say no, I mean, help me plead to this case. I guess I don't want to have any longer. I don't make this any longer than it's supposed to be.
Okay, and again, Ms. Brown, just trying to figure out exactly what
I
I'm
guess
hearing you
not.
say.
I guess not. I guess she doesn't have to be fired. I'm going to plead guilty to this, and I'm going to take the plea.
Okay, and do you want Ms. Russell, who's a very capable and smart attorney, just to kind of help you with the paperwork and kind of just stand here next to the podium while you and I talk about the offer and you accepting that offer?
I, I not really, but does she have to?
She doesn't have to if you want to represent yourself, but what I'll tell you is I don't know if you have any legal background or training, but if you want to have an attorney at least just kind of looking over the case, looking over your shoulder, making sure there isn't anything that's problematic and giving you legal advice, that's what an attorney would be there for you. I can't give you any kind of legal advice or look through the case and look at discovery
So
or tell you anything about your case.
I already got the information. So I'm just saying, am I supposed to be able to take this plea, or can I not take the plea unless she's there?
It's completely up to you. So if you want to go through this plea paperwork on your own, that's fine, but that you won't have an attorney that's representing you that's going to help you and look out for your best interest. You'd be representing yourself.
What does that mean? What do you talk? Why, if I'm supposed to sign the plea deal right now, why can't I sign the plea deal right now?
You can, you absolutely can. But what that means, Mr. Brown, if you sign it right now and you're telling me you don't want Ms. Russell to represent you, that would mean that you're representing yourself. So you could still enter into that agreement, but you would be entering into that agreement at your own risk, that you would be your own attorney. And so any of your legal rights and your legal obligations would be all things that you are taking under yourself. So what I mean by that is, and I don't know anything about your case really, Mr. Brown, but let's say, sir, you had a probation case in Arapahoe County, and I don't know this, but let's say you did, and you want to enter into this agreement today. Ms. Russell would be somebody that could say, hey, if you do that, that could cause problems for you in Arapahoe County. You see what I mean by having an attorney that can give you legal advice?
No, I don't. But I'll let her stand on the stand and get the credit for making me take this plea, I guess.
The credit?
Well, I don't. She's not making you take any plea. What I hear you say is you want to take a plea.
Yeah, she's gonna get the credit though. I guess you guys are working together, and you're gonna get the credit for this. So she could take the stand. She could take the rest of the judge and gavel thing, whatever you want to do. I guess so.
Well, let me ask you this, Mr. Brown. Do you feel like you understand everything that's happening or that's going on around you?
I am completely aware, and I'm taking the plea I'm taking the plea, and I'm pleading guilty.
Mr. Brown, what's the prosecutor's role in a criminal case?
Ooh, he's offended now.
Are you trying to insult my intelligence right now? I'm trying to get to the point.
I'm just trying to make sure you understand who all the people are and all their roles. And
I overstand.
I've heard some things that are concerning about what you think people's roles are, and I want to make sure you know, because I don't want you taking an offer if you're not really understanding what that offer is.
No.
Judge, how dare you ask him a question he doesn't know how to answer?
I know the offer. I'm pretty sure I know the offer. The offer has been presented to me to take the guilty charge. So that's what I'm trying to sign for. I overstand.
Okay. So that's what you want to do then, Mr. Brown?
Yes, I overstand.
Okay, and you understand that that offer is made by the district attorney who is the prosecutor in this case, right?
And he said, yes, and it's been, that's what happened, yeah.
No, see, he thinks that the prosecutor is going to get credit the same way that people think that police officers have quotas.
And you understand that Ms. Russell here is your attorney who works for the public defender's office. She does not work for the court. Her job is to represent your best interests and to give you legal advice.
Okay, I overstand.
You what?
I overstand. I know. I'm on top of my,
okay.
I know what I'm talking about. I know I know.
These are important decisions, so it's okay to overthink. I just want to make sure you feel like you're clear-headed and you know what you're doing and you want to do this today.
Yes, I overstand. Not overthinking, I overstand. Like I know what I'm talking about. Yes.
Nope,
okay.
Don't think you do.
All right. Well, Ms. Russell, is there an offer with paperwork? Do I need to set this over for there to be paperwork?
There is I'm not totally sure how we're proceeding, but there is an offer in the case. The district attorney hasn't written it up yet, but yeah.
What is the offer?
It's to plead guilty to an attempt theft with a fine only or credit for time served.
Okay.
All right, chat. What do you think he stole?
All right. So, Mr. Brown, is that your understanding of the agreement? Is that if you plead guilty to attempted theft, that the people are just looking to give you credit for the time you served in custody?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, so I want your attorney to then just at least go over your rights with you so that you have a full understanding of your rights. It sounds like you already know them, but there's paperwork that at the very least goes through your rights, and then I'll recall your case and we'll talk about you pleading guilty to that charge, that attempted theft.
Okay.
Okay? Okay, so let's do that.
How dare you
And
protect
Ms.
his
Russell, if not, I
rights?
can just set it over for another day with the virtual writ.
Okay.
Well, I won't be here tomorrow.
Let's call Raymond Brown then. This is 23M611.
And Mackenzie Russell on behalf of Mr. Brown.
All right. Hello again, Mr. Brown.
Interesting.
Hey, how you doing?
This is
I'm
Colorado.
doing the same. How are you doing?
I'll be better tomorrow when I get out of here.
Okay, well, let's talk about resolving this case here in Broomfield. So in this case, it looks like if you plead guilty to attempted theft, then the people would dismiss the rest of the charges, and the people are just looking to close your case out, giving you credit for the time you've served or a fine. So is that your
Okay.
understanding of the agreement that you've reached?
Yes, ma'am.
Has anybody made you any other promises to get you to plead guilty?
No.
Has anybody forced, threatened, or coerced you to enter into this agreement?
No.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol or any medication?
No, ma'am.
Are you thinking clearly?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. All right, the
Thank you.
paperwork I have in front of me goes over all of your rights. Did you have enough time to go through this paperwork with your attorney?
Yes, I did.
And do you understand your rights?
Yes.
Do you understand you're giving up those rights in order to enter into this agreement today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then, Mr. Brown, to the charge of attempted theft, how do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
All right, I will accept your guilty plea. I find it to be knowingly and voluntarily entered into with the assistance of competent counsel. For the people for sentencing?
Thank you, Your Honor. The people just asked the court to accept the proposed disposition, and it does look like we are not seeking restitution. I don't know if that was on the paperwork. It is. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Curlin. Ms. Russell for the defense?
Yes, Your Honor. And Mr. Brown, I wasn't sure if you were able to hear that. She just reiterated that they're
Yeah.
not seeking restitution.
Yeah, because nothing was
You heard
stolen.
that? Okay.
Yeah.
Great. All right, Ms. Russell?
Yes, Your Honor. In lieu of a fine, we're asking to close this case with 14 days of credits. Mr. Brown has been in custody for longer than that, but he signed a PR bond on the 16th of October.
Okay. All right, Mr. Brown, anything you want me to know, sir?
No, that's it. But thank you, Your Honor. I'm sorry for causing confusion.
That's all right, sir. I hope when you're released, you move forward in a different direction here.
Yes, I will.
Only one that was
Good.
confused
All
was
right,
you,
and here, Mr.
sir.
Brown, on the charge of attempted theft, I am going to impose 14 days of jail. I'm going to give you credit for the 14 days that you served. I'm not going to impose any fine. I'm going to waive the waivable court costs. There's some court costs I can't waive, sir. I think it's generally about $50 or $60. So you'll be responsible for getting up here to Broomfield to take care of the court costs that I can't
Okay.
waive, but
Oh, yeah.
otherwise I'm going to waive everything else, and we're just going to close your case out.
Okay, can I ask you one question? Would I be able to get my weed back from evidence?
Get your what?
My weed, my marijuana?
He did
I
that.
don't know. You'd have to talk to your attorney or the DA's office. I don't know if that's being held as evidence in this case. I don't know the amount of it. You'd have to probably come in here to the police department to figure out the status of that.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah?
went there.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
All
All right, Mr. Brown, we're going to close your case out. Good luck
All
to you.
right,
Take
thank
care,
you.
sir.
All right, bye.
Yeah, I think he thought he was real smooth. He sure thought he was, the top shit. Oh my gosh, yeah, he went there. He really did. Can I get my weed back? What? No, it was Colorado, which it is legal in Colorado. I know that. But still, I think there's still, even though it's legal, like I still think there's limits on how much you can have and stuff like that. And we don't know what the original charge was or any of that. Right. I mean, even though it's legal, it's still not something that you ask a judge about. For real. Just that right there caught me. That got me. I could not believe he did that. I thought, oh, all right, it's over, and then he comes out with that. It's like, nope, wasn't over. And the fun carries on. Oh, okay, that's interesting. There's no limits at all. Yeah, I know they don't need a medical marijuana card, but still, even that, even knowing that, I guess maybe, okay, well, I live in a state where it's not legal. So, of course, like, to me, bringing it up to a judge is just a no-no anyways. But okay, let's say you wanted your hoodie back from the evidence lockup. Do you ask the judge for that? Judge, they took my blood-spattered hoodie. Can I get that back now that the case is closed? No, you don't ask the judge about that. You follow the right channels, for one thing. And for two, buddy, just go buy yourself a new container of it. I know, but if he asked in the appropriate channels, that's something you would ask the police for. If the police took it from you, you ask the police. Follow the right channels. He's just not my type. Oh, you're hilarious. You guys are so funny. I know. Man, that was a brand new roll of duct tape. Yeah, he's probably an HVAC guy. He owns his own business. I swear, those HVAC guys, those are the ones, they get into the most trouble. They're the ones to watch, for real. Yep. Yep. I mean, if it had been any, like, legal but still not great thing to get caught with and have the police confiscate from you, would you ask the judge? Anything, Can I get my machete back? Can I where do we go from here? Can I get my night vision goggles back? The case is closed. I wasn't peering on her. I wasn't stalking her. Can I get my night vision goggles back? I love you, Emily, but you gotta admit, for the number of HVAC guys we've seen. Oh. Oh yeah, I believe it. I can't imagine when it becomes legal in Wisconsin. And I already know the town that I came from, We've got it's called the Square, and it's where the two courthouses are. There's a nice little park in front of the old one, and there's a cannon, and kids play on it and climb all over it, and there's a monument, and just nice stuff to walk around, and teens hang out there and they play hacky sack on the courthouse lawn. And I know when they legalize it in Wisconsin, I could drive back to my hometown and drive past the courthouse, and there are going to be dozens of stoners, like, just chilling on the benches, just smoking on the courthouse steps because they can. I know it's going to happen. I do. I know it's going to happen. Oh. Yeah, see? You may have gotten the one good one, the only good one. Oh. Now, is it like in Michigan where, like, okay, I know that in Michigan you can get a card from your doctor's office, but then there's also the weed clinic, as they call it, where they just give a card to everybody. Like, here's a card, here's a card, here's a card. Yeah. No, I can see that. I can absolutely see that. It's none of their business. If a doctor issues you a card, that's none of anybody's business as to why. It doesn't matter if it's for anxiety or pain, or if it helps you sleep at night. It does not matter the reason why. If you are issued a card, it is legal for you, and nobody has any business asking you why. Yep. Oh, yeah. What's the ratio to churches? Because the joke used to be, there was a bar on one corner and a liquor, or there was a church on one corner and a bar or liquor store on the other corner, back where I came from, and that was true for a lot of country towns. And now you got a church on one corner, a bar or a liquor store on another corner, and a dispensary across the street. Yeah. Yeah, that's a little antiquated these days. I still think that'd be worth it. Think of the money you save in tickets. Wow. Huh. See, I'm learning. I got nothing against it. I think it should be legal. It's my own personal opinion. I don't smoke it. I can't smoke it. I get regularly drug tested to make sure that I'm not. So, whatever. Yeah. Is that really a town? I know they named a county YOLO. Did they really name a town Weed? Y'all, California is something. Something. I know. I know. I know. I'm sorry. I did this. This is my fault. It's my fault. It's my fault. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's like, don't get me wrong, I used to smoke it, but there are certain, I don't know if it's strains or what, but certain smells of it that, like, when people are like smoking in their car and then they get behind me in a grocery line or something and they just stank, like Lenise Bryan says, they stank. And yeah, I can't handle that smell, the overly concentrated smell of it. But I could use it myself and I'd be okay. Yeah. Y'all stank. All right, now I'm going to put the docket on and you'll see him again. And then you'll see all the stuff in the middle, but like he's something else. Not the whole time, but like he is something else. And then I do have other fun stuff too.
Obviously, the one thing we talked about was that something has to change. Something needs to be different this time. And what I think is different is his family support. When I meet with his family, I meet on WebEx with 5 different people who are all invested in his success. He's now living independently. He has a GPS monitor on one leg, Scram monitor on the other. He's working full-time every day. He has his own car. He is fully equipped now to comply with probation. I got him started with All Health Network, which is in Highlands Ranch. He did the intake with them, and he has another meeting with them coming up. So that's the intensive outpatient component that we felt needed to be present. The in-custody piece was huge. The 80 plus days that he served, I think, is significant. And really, we didn't want to use it as an inpatient treatment program, but it did cost his sobriety for that period of time, which the family really, really wanted to see. And Mr. Martinez really, really needed. And so we have his full undivided attention. He knows another slip now. He's looking at the year, nearly a year that you're suspending today. And if he messes around with alcohol again and starts losing his temper with girlfriends, which best I could tell, he's got too many girlfriends and too many addictions. That was his problem, and too much trauma. And I think it's significant that Ms. Coffey is going to request that
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Yes. Yes, it seems to be your fault. Oh, I was going to get through one stream without doing it. I really was. I was going to. But then I got high. I couldn't resist the temptation of that. feels my love. No, what I was saying while I was muted was that no, this is the case right before our newfound friend. And and this guy I think it's a probation violation. I don't know because I came in the partway through the case, and this is a court that when it's gone, it's gone. I have a few of those that and that's why I can say it's an AprilSeering exclusive. Nobody's going to have it because it is very difficult to catch content on these courtrooms, and there's a lot of work involved in order to be able to do so. So I don't believe anyone else is going to be doing it. And sometimes it's just that I got lucky. I'll just say it that way. Well, no, the guy, our guy, is in the second square down from the top on the left. That is our guy, but he's not the one talking right now. He's not the one that's the one that is up in front of the judge right now is up at the stand in the courtroom. So you are right that it is our guy, but it's not our guy that is currently in front of the judge. What's the mission? I've already failed at Utah. Absolutely freaking failed. I still try, but the only way that I can figure to get anything from there, I would have to log in under my name. And I'm not doing that. I already showed up in a conference room full of lawyers with my name on the big screen. It's not going to happen again. So I'm thinking I'm going to just drop Utah. Yeah, I know. There's a reason for that. She's lurking. Who? Oh, Brown, Mr. Brown? Teeth. Oh, honey. Nah, I don't, not on Reddit, please. Not on Reddit, please. Anywhere but there. How about Discord? Or, anywhere else. Hi, sweetie pie. I'm happy to see you. Oh, I bet it was. And if I ever have to go to court, I'll be happy to log in. Let's just say I try very hard to avoid that. No. Thanks. Why? What did I do now? What did I do? Well, or somebody's name, but still. Maybe you'll have to teach me the ways. Oh man, yeah. That sleep bug's something else. That it's been creeping up on me a lot lately, but I do get I had my appointment with my sleep doctor today, and I'm getting a BiPAP. So once I have that, then I won't do the fall asleep at the drop of a hat thing. I'll actually feel tired long before I'm going to crash. So that will be an interesting experience. All right.
We've worked into this agreement, mental health evaluation, so he can deal with this trauma. I think that's a big part of his trigger, not only for the addiction, but for his anger. And just a young man who's got to get it straight. He's learned some valuable lessons pretty quickly here. If he doesn't learn them permanently, he's going to have some bigger problems. He's going to need me for again, and I hope he doesn't need me again. We've got all of this worked out. It's all falling into place, and it's all up to him now. And so I think it's a reasonable disposition. I think it was the right thing to do at the time, and it's still the right thing to do now, given the work that he's doing. The only request I would make is the court consider removing the GPS. It's awful difficult to have both ankle monitors on, trying to work, just daily activities, bathe, you name it. Really tough with two. The scram is the most important piece. If he drinks, if he has a drop of cough syrup, we're going to know it on the scram monitor. But the GPS, I think, is more location issues concerning the alleged victim, or the victim in this case.
I'll tell you, it's a condition of his bond, and with pleading today, I'm going to release the bond, so
Yeah, okay.
It's no longer a condition
I don't
of
think
the
there's a
bond.
reasonable concern for that anymore. Really, the alcohol is the thing to watch, because without that, he's perfect. He's just perfect, like a lot of people. Life's a lot easier without it. So that's all I have to say.
That's why you and I have a job, I think.
Yeah, I appreciate you listening to us today.
All right, thank you, Mr. Jones. Mr. Martinez, is there anything you'd like me to know, sir?
I'm just excited to continue my path of sobriety. Today is actually my 100th day sober, so I'm very excited about that.
Congratulations.
And I appreciate your time.
All right, I appreciate that, Mr. Martinez. Here, my hope is for some reason, your probation officer, I think, is really here cheerleading you on, because what I am seeing with this being a 2018 case and having a probation officer that's been with you for, what is that, like 5 years, that's a long time. And I think if I were her, I'd be ready to throw my hands up and walk away and say, you're on your own. But the sense I get from her is she's here, she's really trying to cheerlead you, letting you know that you need to be accountable for the things you've done and you haven't been successful at all, but she wants you to be successful. She really does. And so she can't do probation for you. And I imagine it's really frustrating after 5 years of her trying to get you to be successful, of you not doing it. I don't know what else she has. I think this is it. I'll tell you, this is it. So I'm going to put you on probation. I'm going to suspend a whole huge chunk of jail here on you successfully completing probation, and I'm going to do what I call an enhanced probation, meaning I can have you come back into court every month for the next, 6 months or so. And if you're compliant and doing what you need to be doing and you keep up that motivation and things are going well, then instead of having you come every month, I'll maybe have you come every other month, and then maybe every 3 months, and then maybe I just won't need to see you anymore because you'll be well on your way to completing probation. But what I'll tell you is it's a really short leash, so that if you come back and I see you in January and you're kind of screwing around on probation and not doing what you need to be doing and you're not doing those evaluations or you're missing UAs, well, we're going to have a problem right off the bat.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, is that clear?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, then here, I'm going to start with the old case, so 19M469. I am going to revoke and terminate your probation as unsuccessful, and we're going to close out that case. Then in 23M430, on the charge of third-degree assault, I am going to impose 18 months of supervised probation, the terms and conditions of which will include a domestic violence evaluation and treatment, a mental health evaluation and treatment. It's not on here, but I'm going to include a substance abuse evaluation and treatment. The 100 days of sobriety is huge, and I just want to make sure that we've got the tools in place to really encourage that recovery and keep it moving.
Thank you.
In terms of monitored sobriety, I'm going to order monitored sobriety at probation's discretion. I'm going to add the scram monitor that you have, again, at probation's discretion. So probation can decide how long that's necessary. I'm going to, again, suspend 300 days of jail. on your successful completion of probation, which I hope here, Mr. Martinez, means you're not going to have to do any more jail time. But what I'll tell you, I want you to know what I think all judges suspend jails, it means different things. So when I suspend jail, what that means is that's the jail sentence I'm going to give you if you come back in front of me. That's my note. It's not a guess of, well, what am I going to do if you're not successful at probation? I've already made that decision. You've earned that 300-day jail sentence, I think, based on the history here and the seriousness of this case. I think the 300 days of jail is appropriate, but I'm going to suspend it. So I just want you to know, if you end up back in front of me, you're not looking at, oh, well, maybe you're going to get 30 days or maybe you're going to get 60 days. You're getting 300 days of jail if you're not successful on probation.
Understood.
Is that clear? Okay. I'm going to also order no alcohol and no drugs while on probation. I'm not going to impose any fines. There are court costs and then costs associated with probation. So my clerk's going to give you a printout in terms of what that total amount is, and I'm going to have you take that down to the clerk's window on the first floor, or you can pay it all at once, or you can ask to get set up on a payment plan. Really, whatever's easiest for you, just let them know downstairs. Then in terms of probation, Officer Coffey, do you already have an appointment set up with Mr. Martinez?
Yes, tomorrow.
Great. Okay, so here's what I want to see. Mr. Martinez, I want you to make that appointment tomorrow. I want you to make sure that you're calling the UAs, you're taking the UAs, that you're doing everything you need to do to be compliant and successful. Because I'm going to give you another court date here in January. And how those, what I call enhanced reviews work is, I ask you how probation's going, and I want a good report. And then after you give me what I hope is a good report, then I'm going to have your probation officer, either virtually or even a written report if that's easiest. I'm going to hear from her in terms of how she thinks probation's going. And really my hope is this should be encouragement, and it hopefully is, let's keep this motivation going, let's keep encouraging. But the flip side is if things aren't going well, then I know about it right away and I will stop it right away.
Understood, Your Honor.
Okay?
Thank you.
So I want this first one to be real positive. So let's do everything we can between now and January to really put in your absolute best foot forward.
Okay.
Okay? All right. So let's give you an enhanced review date in January.
January 17th at 8:30.
How about January 17th at 8:30? Does that work for you?
I can take that date.
And Officer Coffey, again, if you want to appear virtually, or if you want to write in a report, but is that a date that would generally work?
Yes, that works.
Great. Okay. So then I'm going to see back Mr. Martinez on January 17th at 8:30. Again, hopefully to hear that things are going really well.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Any questions, sir?
No, I do not.
Okay. Have a seat. We've got a whole bunch of paperwork for you in just a minute.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, guys, and here we go. We are going to start the first half of our amazing new friend. And I don't even have a fez to wear.
Thank you. Just 1 minute, Ms. Breeder. Are we ready on the Jeff Corwit? Mr. Brown?
Yes. I'm ready.
All
I'm
right.
ready. I'm ready.
I want to make sure your attorney is ready too, Mr. Brown. So let's call Raymond Brown, 23M611.
Katie Wells for the people.
I
And
don't
Mackenzie
need him.
Russell on behalf of Mr. Brown.
All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Brown.
Yeah. How you doing?
Good. How are you
He's
doing, sir?
giggles to me.
I could be better. I could be better. I could be.
I think that's probably right. Well, let's see if we can get you moving in a positive direction here. Ms. Russell, we're set for an appearance of counsel. How did you want to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. So in speaking to Mr. Brown, it's my understanding that he wants to remove me from the case. I'm not sure if a burglary hearing is required and if we have the capacity to do that today, but that is what Mr. Brown wants.
Okay, so
I
Mr.
mean,
Brown,
I'm-
hold on, sir. I just have a question for you. I want to just understand what the issue is. Do you want to represent yourself, or are you asking that I appoint a different attorney to represent you?
No, I don't. It's the same plea from the beginning. Like when I first came to court, it was a different public defender, but it was the same plea, and I would just accept the plea to plead guilty, and so there's no need. It's nothing that she can change or nothing she can make better or worse. It's nothing that she can do. You know what I mean? It's and talking to her for in the last month or two, it hasn't been any. She hasn't given me any new information, or it's nothing. It's no need if I'm just taking a plea, right?
That's I get from her is she's
Dag nabbit. And now I have hit the back button, and it isn't even CE's fault. No, I explained it in the beginning. So, the first one was just him, just his hearing cut out so that anybody who didn't want to sit out the docket doesn't have to. But what I'm playing now is the docket. So all of that time that was in between his hearing is going to play, but I wasn't going to go through and cut him out specifically. I mean, we can fast forward if you want, but there's some people that weren't here at the beginning. So I just figured I would leave it in. But now I have to put this cursor back to where it was. About there.
Stay there and help me say no. I mean, help me plead to this case. I guess I don't want to have any longer. I don't wanna make this any longer than it's supposed to be.
Okay, and again, Mr. Brown, just trying to figure out exactly what
I
I'm
guess
hearing you
not.
say.
I guess not. I guess she doesn't have to be fired. I'm going to plead guilty to this, and I'm going to take the plea.
Okay, and do you want Ms. Russell, who's a very capable and smart attorney, just to kind of help you with the paperwork and kind of just stand here next to the podium while you and I talk about the offer and you accepting that offer?
I, I not really, but does she have to?
Well, she doesn't have to if you want to represent yourself, but what I'll tell you is I don't know if you have any legal background or training, but if you want to have an attorney at least just kind of looking over the case, looking over your shoulder, making sure there isn't anything that's problematic and giving you legal advice, that's what an attorney would be there for you. I can't give you any kind of legal advice or look through the case and look at discovery or tell you anything about your case.
I already got the information, so I'm just saying, am I supposed to be able to take this plea, or can I not take the plea unless she's there?
It's completely up to you. So if you want to go through this plea paperwork on your own, that's fine, but you won't have an attorney that's representing you that's going to help you and look out for your best interest. You'd be representing yourself.
What does that mean? What do you talk? Why, if I'm supposed to sign the plea deal right now, why can't I sign the plea deal right now?
You can, you absolutely can. But what that means, Mr. Brown, if you sign it right now and you're telling me you don't want Ms. Russell to represent you, that would mean that you're representing yourself. So you could still enter into that agreement, but you would be entering into that agreement at your own risk, that you would be your own attorney. And so any of your legal rights and your legal obligations would be all things that you are taking under yourself. So what I mean by that is, and I don't know anything about your case really, Mr. Brown, but let's say, sir, you had a probation case in Arapahoe County, and again, I don't know this, but let's say you did, and you want to enter into this agreement today. Ms. Russell would be somebody that could say, hey, if you do that, that could cause problems for you in Arapahoe County. You see what I mean by having an attorney that can give you legal advice?
No, I don't. But I'll let her stand on the stand and get the credit for making me take this plea, I guess.
Well, I don't. She's not making you take any plea. What I hear you say is you want to take a plea.
Yeah, she's gonna get the credit though. I guess you guys are working together, and you're gonna get the credit for this. So she could take the stand. She could take press the judge and gavel thing, whatever you want to do. I guess so.
Well, let me ask you this, Mr. Brad. Do you feel like you understand everything that's happening or that's going on around you?
I am completely aware, and I'm taking the plea I'm taking the plea, and I'm pleading guilty.
Mr. Brown, what's the prosecutor's role in a criminal case?
Are you trying to insult my intelligence right now? I'm trying to get to the point.
I'm just trying to make sure you understand who all the
Can't insult what you don't have.
people are and all their roles. And
I overstand.
I've heard some things that are concerning about what you think people's roles are, and I want to make sure you know, because I don't want you taking an offer if you're not really understanding what that offer is.
No, I know the offer. I'm pretty sure I know the offer. The offer has been presented to me to take the guilty charge. So that's what I'm trying to sign for. I overstand.
Okay, so that's what you want to do then, Mr. Brown.
Yes, I overstand.
Okay, and you understand that offer is made by the district attorney, who is the prosecutor in this case, right?
And he said, yeah, yes, and it's been, yeah, that's what happened, yeah.
And you understand that Ms. Russell here is your attorney, who works for the public defender's office. She does not work for the court. Her job is to represent your best interests and to give you legal advice.
Okay, I overstand.
You what?
I overstand. I overstand. I know. I'm on top of my.
Okay.
I know what I'm talking about. I know what I know.
These
I
are important
overstand.
decisions, so it's okay to overthink. I just want to make sure you feel
I
like you're clear-headed and you
overstand.
know what you're doing and you want to do this today.
Yes, I overstand. Not overthinking. I overstand. Like I know what I'm talking about. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, Ms. Russell, is there an offer with paperwork? Do I need to set this over for there to be paperwork?
There is I'm not totally sure how we're proceeding, but, there is an offer in the case. The district attorney hasn't written it up yet, but, yeah.
What is the offer?
It's to plead guilty to an attempt, theft with a fine only or credit for time served.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Brown, is that your understanding of the agreement, is that if you plead guilty to attempted theft, that the people are just looking to give you credit for the time you served in custody?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, so I want your attorney to then just at least go over your rights with you so that you have a full understanding of your rights. It sounds like you already know them, but there's paperwork that at the very least goes through your rights, and then I'll recall your case and we'll talk about you pleading guilty to that charge, that attempted theft.
Okay.
Okay? Okay, so let's do that. And Ms. Russell, if not, I can just set it over for another day with the virtual writ. Okay.
Well, I won't be here tomorrow.
All right, Ms. Brito, are you ready on the return filings?
I sure am, Your Honor.
Great, thank you. Okay, let's start with Alexander Newman. This is 23 CR 544.
Katie Wells for the people.
Anna Brito on behalf of Mr. Newman.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Newman.
Good afternoon.
All right, Ms. Brito, we're set today for return filing of charges. How did you want to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. There have not been charges filed in this case yet. I think it's still within the time frame where they can. I know that I think they have to PR him if it was 72 hours. It has not been 72 hours, but I could not advise him. So I would just ask the court to inquire about that.
It's been 7
This gets set over so quickly.
He was a refusal.
From Monday.
And I believe.
Yeah. Oh, really? That was Thursday. Oh. Yeah, it was a video advisal on Monday morning. For today for return filing. Oh. Oh.
Your Honor, he was unable to attend video advisals Monday morning, but his case.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm gonna set you over tomorrow, here. Mr. Newman, I just wanna make sure that your attorney can look at the charge, if charges are filed. I don't know the status of that. I just have to see that they're not filed yet. And so the DA's office does have a little bit more time to get them filed. So I'm gonna have you come back on Thursday at 1:30, and we'll see if charges were filed. And if they are filed, then your attorney will have some time to talk to you about what those charges are.
Okay.
Okay? All right, take care, Mr. Newman. We'll see you tomorrow at 1:30. Newman, just a continued return filing. All right, then let's see here. Next, we've got Roman Garcia. This is 23 CR 543. All right, good afternoon, Mr. Garcia.
Good afternoon.
All right, so let's see here, Ms. Brito. We are set today for return filing of charges. How did you want to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Garcia has been advised of the charges against him. We would ask that our office be appointed and a preliminary hearing and bond reduction hearing be set within 35 days.
Okay. All right, here, Mr. Garcia, I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you as long as you remain in custody. I'm going to set your case over for a bond reduction hearing and a preliminary hearing. I'm going to set that in the next 35 days, 23 CR 543. Yep. January 4th at 2 o'clock. Tell me. Does that work, Ms. Brito?
Yes, I'm not sure whose case it will be, but yes.
Okay. Well, surprise somebody. So, Mr. Garcia, I'm going to see you back on January 4th at 2 o'clock. Again, I've appointed a public defender to represent you as long as you stay in custody, so they'll start working on your case so that they're prepared for that January 4th date. And then when I see you on January 4th at 2, we can talk about your bond, and we can also have that hearing to see if there's enough evidence to move forward with your case. That's that preliminary hearing.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, take care, Mr. Garcia. We'll see you back then. Here's that one. All right, and then finally, we've got Gerard Abalos, 23 CR 541. All right, good afternoon, sir. How do you say your last name?
Avalos? Avalos?
Abelos.
Yes.
Abelos, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, Mr. Abelos. Then we're set today for return filing of charges. Ms. Brito, how did you want to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Abelos has been advised of the charges against him. We ask that our office be appointed and a preliminary hearing and bond reduction hearing be set within 35 days. Mr. Abelos would also like to address bond at this time if the people are prepared to do so.
Or,
Okay. All right, so let's set this, Mr. Abelos, for January 4th at 2 o'clock. Again, I'm going to set that for a bond reduction hearing and a preliminary hearing. I do see, though, that you did not appear at video advisal, and your attorney then reserved bond argument. So if I have the defense start, can the people be prepared to address bond here in a minute?
Yes, Your Honor.
Great. All right, Ms. Brito for the defense?
Your Honor, I actually need to pass this matter to talk to Mr. Abelos really quickly. I'm sorry, I just realized something.
Okay, that's fine.
So then we'll both have time.
Okay, perfect.
In the meantime, Your Honor, I'm ready on Mr. Signarvik's case.
Great.
This is all taken.
All right, Mrs. Signarvik, do you want to come on up?
Sorry about that.
This is Brandon Signarvik, 23M682.
Heather for the people, can you tell me the last name starts with what?
Signarvik.
Okay, thank you.
And Mackenzie Russell on behalf of Mr. Signarvik.
All right, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. How are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Fine.
Good. All right, Ms. Russell, we are set today for appearance of counsel. How did you want to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to set for a disposition. I would also like to address bond if the district attorney is able to do so.
All right, are the people willing to address bond here?
Let me just,
Mr. Signarvik.
it's not VRA, right? No.
No, not VRA.
We can be prepared to address bond.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Russell.
Yes, Your Honor. So Mr. Signarvik, he has been in custody for quite some time now. He does have family, a home, and a job waiting for him outside of custody. If he got out of custody, he would be living with his fiance and her family. His fiance is pregnant. She's due in April. His, I guess, soon-to-be father-in-law does have a job available for him to work as his soon-to-be father-in-law's HVAC assistant, so he'd have employment when he got out of custody. He would also have a ride to and from court from his fiance's dad. I'm asking for a personal recognizance bond here or just a reduction in the currently set bond.
Okay. What's the status of these 5 other holds?
So the Jefferson County case and the Gilpin County case, I'm not totally sure why the Jefferson County case got set out as far as it did, but it got set out for an appearance on an arrest warrant January 12th. And then the Gilpin case is set for an appearance on arrest warrant on Friday.
Okay, but he's talking to me held on those cases, sounds like.
Yes, that's correct. He's trying to put together the money to be able to bond on all of the cases, which is why he was hoping to address bond in this matter, either get a personal recognizance bond or a reduction in this bond.
Okay, for the people?
Your Honor, the people obviously are concerned about the outstanding warrants, the fleeing. It is a fairly low-level case, though, here. We wouldn't object to a PR bond.
All right.
Your Honor, if I may.
No, your attorney argued very well on your behalf, and people aren't objecting to a PR bond. However, at the time of this alleged incident, having 5 active warrants in various counties, I'm not going to modify your bond to a PR bond. I don't think that's appropriate based on the number of warrants at the time of the allegations here. So what I will do, though, I'll reduce your bond. Sorry, the PR bond's not appropriate, but I'll reduce it to, right now it's at $750 cash assurity. I'll reduce it to $250 cash assurity. And so hopefully that helps if you're trying to post all of these bonds, but I'm just not comfortable with a PR bond here.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Russell, are we sending this over for a disposition?
Yes, Your
And you
Honor.
want it before?
That's still, okay, it's cash or surety, so they can get a bonding company. That's still a really low bond in comparison to other states.
Or the Jeffco dates or after?
If we could get it after, I know that it's kind of far out.
Okay, so that was like mid-January?
January 12th.
January 12th, okay. So the next Wednesday would be January 17th?
That would work for us.
Okay.
January 17th at 1:30?
January 17th at 1:30?
I can write on this and write my number.
All right, sounds like that works. So, Mr. Signarovic, I'm going to see you back January 17th at 1:30. If you do post those bonds, make sure you're here in Broomfield on January 17th at 1:30.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you very much. I
Okay,
appreciate it.
take care.
That's a 5.
I can let her know.
All right, I have the interpreter online, and I think council was waiting for the interpreter. Did you need a breakout room?
Oh, you shouldn't be first, not present.
Okay, but you didn't need to talk to him ahead of time. Are you ready for me to call it?
I'm gonna make you Spanish speaker, so yeah.
Okay, all right,
This is not like a fee matter.
great. All right, then let's call Monte Castillo. This is Jose Monte Castillo, 23T824.
Katie Wells for the people.
And Oscar Rivera Diaz, 55469, on behalf of defendant Mata Castillo, who appears out of custody to my right, using Spanish interpreter services.
Sería, vamos a llamar al señor Mata Castillo, que está compareciendo aquí a mi derecha, con la ayuda del intérprete en español.
All right, good afternoon.
Can I just say Monte Castillo is just a fun name to say, and I absolutely love it. Monte Castillo. Monte Castillo. Like, I want to know what that means, because it's got to mean something.
And Judge, for the record, I'm gonna file my EOA, later today. I haven't filed, he retained me, briefly ago.
Y para ir con Seneca, voy a presentar no lo pude presentar antes, pero lo voy a presentar más tarde.
All right, sounds like we just need another court date.
That is correct, Judge. And I think this is a blood draw, so if it can get set over a bit longer.
I think probably mid to late February is probably what we're looking at.
February
21st at 2:30. Can we not do the 21st? I just don't know if I'm gonna have coverage. February 14th at 2 p.m.? February 14th at 2?
Works for defense.
Oh,
All right, so Mr.
Valentine's
Monte Castillo, I'm
Day.
going to see you back February 14th at 2 o'clock.
Muy bien, señor Mata Castillo, lo voy a volver a dar el 14 de febrero a las 2 de la tarde.
Is he checking his
Thanks, Judge.
teeth?
All right, take care, we'll see you then.
Thanks.
Esto lo volvemos a ver.
And Your Honor, we can recall
I
Mr.
think I don't know
Avalos.
if she's gonna be here. Yeah. I'm sorry, Ms. Brito, you ready?
We can recall Mr. Avalos just to address bond.
Great. All right, let's recall Mr. Abalos. This is 23 CR 541.
Katie Wells for the people.
Anna Brito on behalf of Mr. Avalos.
All right, Ms. Brito, are we still addressing bond?
We are. So at this time, Mr. Avalos would like to be asking, we'd be asking for a personal recognizance bond.
I love how they color coordinate the headphones to the jumpsuits at the jail. Man, they got some sense of humor.
Or a bond set significantly below schedule. I believe since he did not appear, it was set at schedule, which is $1,500 cash surety for the top charge, which would be an F5. Essentially, the issue is he lives in South Denver with his father. His father is older and has some significant medical issues. Mr. Avalos' primary vocation is caring for his father. So he does do temp work here and there, but he doesn't have a lot of money and ability to post bond because mostly he is looking after his father. He's lived in Denver his whole life though, and he has significant family support.
No one
to help him
knows.
get to court. That's how he would get a ride. Currently, he's been struggling with some asthma issues while in the jail, and also just the stress of not knowing if he's going to be able to be released to care for his father, particularly during the holidays and during this time. He does have another matter out of Denver where a warrant was issued, and he has a court date where he's supposed to be writted for that in a couple days. He's aware that if he were granted a personal recognizance bond here, he would
It gets weirder.
likely just be transferred to Denver. But from looking at that case, it does seem like something that will likely resolve at the next court date, potentially without holding him any longer. So I think it's most efficient to grant a PR bond here, so then he can then do that, especially since things are getting set so far out just with the time of year.
Okay. All right, thanks, Ms. Brito. For the people?
Thank you, Your Honor. The people would object to a PR bond at this time. In looking at the pretrial services report, it appears that Mr. Avalos is a CPAT risk category 4 and presents a total CPAT score of 69. In looking at prior criminal history, it looks like there's 53 cycles to include property, drug, and person crimes and flight escapes. For those reasons, the people would object to a PR bond. Thank you.
Okay. All right, here the court's considered the statements of counsel. I've also reviewed the pretrial services report, and I'm familiar with the affidavit for the warrantless arrest here. Here, bond was set at $1,500 when the defendant was not present. I think that was just the scheduled amount based on the investigation of the top charge here. The court's concern is that the defendant is a risk category 4 with what appears to be a number of failure to appears, and at the time of the allegations in this case, there were 2 active warrants out of Denver County. So that's really the court's concern. I think $1,500 cash assured is an appropriate bond. I'm not going to modify it.
I really think he is practicing his suave faces. Like, seriously. He's got the lips going. He's making sure under his eyes is looking good. He's fixing his hair. I mean, he is making sure that he's got the look. We don't know what look, but he's got the look.
So, sir, I'm gonna leave your bond set as it is. I am gonna set you over, though, for another court date for a preliminary hearing and a bond reduction hearing. I'm gonna set that within 35 days. January 4th at 2 o'clock. So that's gonna be January 4th at 2 o'clock. So, Mr. Avalos, I will see you back January 4th at 2. We can talk about your bond again on January 4th at 2 o'clock. We can also have that hearing to see if there's enough evidence to move forward with your case. That's that preliminary hearing. All right, take care, sir.
The case number for that? I got the court date, but just the case number again?
For the Broomfield case, 23 CR 541. Great, thanks, Ms. Brito.
I think they're telling her.
All right.
Can we call that in?
You were the victim of one of our printing issues that we're having with our computer system. There's some cases that just aren't printing up. Well, they print up, but they don't put the name on it, which is not very helpful if people are looking for the right courtroom. All right, so let's call Michael Angelillo. This is 22M478.
And Ryan Dawson, 50282, on behalf of Mr. Angelillo, who appears with me on bond at the lectern.
Katie Wells for the people.
Good afternoon.
How you doing?
We're set today for a diversion review. What's the status of diversion?
Your Honor, Mr. Angelillo has been proactively reaching out to diversion. They got back in contact with him today, and I believe he got his intake forms and diversion contract submitted sometime between lunch and now.
Okay,
so
great.
It just happened.
Great. And so, has he already done the intake, or we're going to get an intake set up?
I think the intake paperwork's been completed. His initial meeting is supposed to be scheduled Friday, I believe.
Yeah. Great. Okay, so I'm going to set one more review, but I'm going to set this at like a couple months out. So it sounds like we're well on our way. We should have.
What is that? Seriously. What is he doing right now? That almost was the thumbnail. Was that right there? But then I thought, no, then they'll all think it's clickbait because he doesn't do that until, way later. But what the actual heck is he doing? I don't get it.
That contract here in the next couple of weeks. So my hope is in setting this out far enough that I'm not going to have you come back. I just want to make sure I have kind of a placeholder here just in case you miss the appointment or you decide you don't want to do diversion or something like that. I've got a way of having you come back into court and we can look at the next options. But I'm going to set this out the end of January, which again should be way more than enough time. Once I see that diversion contract come through, I'm just going to vacate all the court dates. You won't need to come back to court. You'll just need to complete doing whatever it is diversion's having you do. Sure. So I'll set you out at the end of January. January 31st at 3 o'clock? January 31st at 3.
Now you see why I wanted to run the whole docket, right? Y'all are with me now? Yeah, I know I confused you at first, but there was no way that I could let this behavior go unnoticed. I told you it was bizarre.
That works for us.
Again, my hope is to vacate that once I see the contract. And you're well on your way to doing that, sir. So just keep following through with diversion, and when I see that contract, I'll vacate any court dates I have.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Great, take care.
Thank you.
All right, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. May we call the Carlson matter CAR?
Sir, Autumn Carlson, this is 23M629.
Heather Curran for the people.
Good afternoon, Judge. Daniel Murphy, 25507, appearing on behalf of and with Ms. Carlson. We do have a proposed plea disposition for the court's consideration. I had to hand it to your clerk personally. I tried to file it Monday, it got rejected. Inadvertently, the DA sent me with the wrong caption, so we just figured we'd do it the old-fashioned way. For the record, Judge, Ms. Carlson will be pleading to disorderly conduct, noise with no domestic violence, sentence enhancer 18-9-1061C.
Okay, all right, and what's the people's request here? The people's requesting to close this case out? Okay.
Yeah, fine only, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so Ms. Carlson, is that your understanding of the agreement that you've reached with the people?
Yes.
Has anybody made you any other promises to get you to plead guilty?
No.
Has anybody forced, threatened, or coerced you to enter into this guilty plea?
No.
The paperwork I have in front of me, the old school paperwork, as your attorney was calling it, goes over all of your rights. Have you had enough time to carefully go through this paperwork with your attorney?
Yes.
And do you understand your rights?
Yes.
Do you understand you're giving up those rights in order to enter into this agreement today?
Yes.
In terms of the charge of disorderly conduct noise, do you understand the elements of that charge?
Yes.
Do you understand that the maximum possible penalty is up to 10 days of jail and up to a $300 fine?
Yes.
All right, counsel, does the defense waive the establishment of a factual basis?
We would so waive, Judge.
Then, Ms. Carlson, to the charge of disorderly conduct noise, how do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
All right, I'll accept your guilty plea. I find it to be knowingly and voluntarily entered into with the assistance of competent counsel. For the people, for sentencing?
Nothing further from the people, Your Honor.
All right, for the defense?
Nothing, Judge, thank you.
All right, Ms. Carlson, anything you want me to know?
No.
All right, easy enough then. So here, on the charge of disorderly conduct noise, I am going to impose a $50 fine. There's also some court costs on top of that. My clerk's going to give you a printout in terms of what that amount totals to. I'm going to have you take that down to the clerk's window on the first floor. So you can pay it all at once, you can, or you can ask to set up on a payment plan. Just let them know what kind of payment plan you want, whatever's most comfortable for you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll close out your case.
Thanks, Judge.
Take care.
Oh, wait.
Good afternoon. Hearing you're
Antoinette
on.
Gonzalez, please.
Gonzalez. All right, Antoinette Gonzalez? Great, 23M669.
Heather Curran for the people.
Afternoon, Your Honor. Charles Greenwood entering my appearance for Ms. Gonzalez, who appears out of custody, just asking to set over for discovery.
Okay, all right, great. So Ms. Gonzalez, I'm going to put this over for another court date. That way your attorneys have some time to talk to the DA and look at discovery, and you'll have some time to talk to your attorney about how you want to move forward. So mid-January or so, is that enough time?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm back here on the afternoon of the 4th, if the court has that. Would that work with you?
How are we on the afternoon of the 4th? This is Antoinette Gonzalez. What time are you here?
I am here, let's see, 1:30 and 2, so I can do anytime you're available.
Oh, I need you on a Wednesday. I have a different DA on a Thursday.
Oh, okay.
So we could do the 3rd, or we could pick a different Wednesday altogether.
Yeah, the 3rd, I'm in Arapahoe. I don't think I can make it here in time. Let's see.
February 10th at 2 p.m.
I'd love to be in and out of here first. Can we do 1:30?
Sure.
Okay.
Can we do 1:30? Okay, January 10th at 1:30. Make sure you rush the podium at 1:30 if you want to get out of here first.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, we'll see you back at January 10th at 1:30 then.
Thank you.
Take care. Yep.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. Who are you here on?
I'm here for Mr. Connors,
All right.
and he's approaching the podium out of custody. We're on for sentencing today.
Great. Let's call Sean Connors, 23T593. All right, for the people.
Heather Crone for the people.
Got Mr. Lux here for the defense. Are we ready to go forward with sentencing?
It's Michael Young, 57802. I apologize.
All right, Mr. Young.
And I am prepared to move on to sentencing.
All right, are the people prepared for sentencing?
Who was he talking to? He was just talking into the camera. I'm so confused by this man.
1 second, Your Honor.
Ms. Curlin, are the people prepared?
I'm just checking. I apologize. Yes, we are.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, then, for the people.
Thank you. Yes, Your Honor, it looks like there was a alcohol evaluation here.
So
Mr. Connors
smooth.
has a substantial history with alcohol. His assessment score indicates a need for a minimum of level 2 education and weekly outpatient treatment. He had a number of risk factors, which indicates he continues to get in the vehicle after drinking alcohol. The people would ask for 24 hours of level 2 education and 86 hours of track D therapy, monitored sobriety, useful public service, that the defendant refrain from alcohol and other illicit substances. We are asking for a jail sanction here, and hold on 1 second. Is your right? Okay. This is recommending the 10 days of in-home detention.
Hold on, because I think this is the third. I was just looking up to see if sentencing was this morning.
I understand that it was a second, Your Honor.
I see the charges impaired with one prior, but I do note that there's an alcohol eval, so.
All right, well, so it's interesting. When I was looking up this case, I was trying to find the Adams County case. I couldn't find it. What I've just now noticed is it has the same case number.
Yeah, I think that was I think it's our case.
It's this case. It's not Adams, it's Brimfield.
I had the same discussion with Mr. Connors when I was reviewing the alcohol evaluation. Usually they only list the priors up there, but for some reason they listed our case as well.
And now he's trying to check himself out from different angles?
Okay, well, and it listed the wrong county. I was confused because it was also set for sentencing today. Okay.
We have it as
a
a
second. This is
DWA second
outside of 5.
Yeah, that's what we have. DWAI second outside of 5. We're recommending 10 days of in-home detention, and probation, and a year suspended jail upon successful completion of probation.
Okay, all right, thank you, Ms. Carlin. Mr. Young?
Yes, Your Honor. This was a stipulated plea agreement we had. It was the 10 days in-home detention, 48 hours of community service, MAD victim impact panel as well. So it's really up to the court with regards to how many therapy hours Mr. Connors has to serve. I think level 2 education is appropriate here. For a second, that occurred more than 10 years ago. I think track B would be more appropriate than track D. So I would ask for 52 hours of therapy. I understand the court's likely to impose random sobriety during the therapy hours, and I would have no objection to that. Mr. Connors does take accountability for his actions. In the alcohol evaluation, he admits that it was a stupid decision. He understands that he put the community at grave risk. The only other request I would have is that we set out reporting to in-home detention until the 2nd. He has his son's birthday party coming up this weekend, and just to get him past the holidays. And I thank Your Honor.
All right, it takes a while to get that all set up, so I'll walk through it, but it'll be after that. Okay, and then the prior.
I had the prior as 2011 from Tucson.
All right, Mr. Connors, anything you want to tell me, sir?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right. All right, here, Mr. Connors, I'm glad we figured out that Adams County case is actually the Broomfield case. And I'm actually going to make a note of it because I think the probation officer would be confused too. So I just want to make sure we're all on the same page with this being a second. That way they treat it like it's a second. Here, my hope is that this is a real wake-up call for you, that you really are evaluating a relationship with alcohol and figuring out that alcohol probably doesn't mix for you, period. But certainly doesn't mix with you and getting behind the wheel of a motor vehicle. That's here now having a second offense of involving alcohol and a motor vehicle. I just have some real community safety concerns, not only for our community, but for yourself and anybody that would be in your car that you love and care about. I see that happen all too often here of, just, again, alcohol and motor vehicles that don't mix. So again, sir, hoping that this is a wake-up call. I acknowledge you're taking responsibility for it, and I just appreciate the fact that you're taking responsibility and really looking at how to make some big changes here going forward.
Yes, sure. Thank you.
All right. So here, on the charge of DWAI with one prior, I'm going to impose 2 years of supervised probation, the terms and conditions of which will include the alcohol evaluation and treatment, which you've already done, 48 hours of useful public service, monitored sobriety as deemed appropriate by probation, the MAD Victim Impact Panel. I'm going to suspend 365 days of jail on your successful completion of probation, which means you don't owe me any jail unless you end up back in front of me on a complaint to revoke your probation. I'm also going to order no alcohol and no drugs while on probation, the 10 days of in-home detention. I'm going to have you begin that on or before, let's say, January 12th. It takes them some time. It's an ankle monitor. It's going to take them some time to get that ankle monitor ready for you.
Yes.
So what I want you to do is I want you to call today. We're going to give you a piece of paper with the phone number. I want you to call today. That way they can start working on getting that ankle monitor set up for you. If they have it ready early and you want to start it early, you can, but you can't start it late. So if you wait to call until like the week before, January 12th, it's not going to be enough time. You're going to end up in trouble.
Love you, CE. Bunches and bunches.
So make sure you call today. That way you have that flexibility to start it when you want. All right, then the fine of $600 is the mandatory minimum. In terms of the level of education and therapy, I'm not going to weigh into that. I let probation, based on an alcohol evaluation, they'll make that determination in terms of clinically what's most appropriate here. So that's the point of that alcohol evaluation. I think it was in here of what they're recommending. So probation will look at that with you in terms of how many hours they'll require. Looks like the people are reserving restitution. Are the people still reserving restitution?
1 second. Are you still reserving restitution on Connors? Do you know? Okay, 1 second, Your Honor. I apologize. At this time, Your Honor, we are. Thank you.
You are reserving restitution still?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to enter an award of restitution. I'm going to leave the amount blank. I'm going to give the people 30 to 40 days to file a motion with the amount of restitution, and I'm going to give the defense 14 days to file any objection. So again, as we talked about, I'm sure at the time that you entered the plea, that restitution is you've admitted that you would be liable for a restitution. So again, you can object and say that's not the right amount. You can't come back and say you don't owe anything. So I'll leave that open again for 30 to 40 days, and then giving the defense 14 days to file any objection. If there's an objection, we'll set a hearing. In terms of probation, I want you to report to probation. It's a little late today. You can go today. They're open until 5. I'm just going to order that you report by 5 o'clock tomorrow. So my clerk will give you a sheet of paper of where to go. It's essentially 120th and Pecos. It's the same place where you went for the alcohol evaluation.
Let me ask one. I work at a psychiatric hospital.
Does anybody know what he's doing now? Anybody?
I do work tomorrow, and they're very short-staffed. Is there any way Friday morning?
Sure. Let's say Friday by 5. Is that going to give you enough time?
Yes. Absolutely.
Perfect.
This guy just said he works for a psychiatric hospital. Can I make a recommendation? Just one.
Okay, so don't forget. So make sure you go Friday by 5, so you know where to go, right? It's the same office building where you were for the alcohol evaluation. Yep. You go right back up to the 3rd floor, let them know you were just put on probation. They're going to give you some paperwork to fill out, and you'll get started right away. In terms of the fine here, it's at $600 plus court costs and the cost of probation, so I'll give you a heads up ahead of time. It's a large number. My clerk's gonna give you a printout with that total. I can have you take
Thanks
that
for
down to the
coming,
clerk's table on the
John.
first floor. If you can pay it all at once, you can. Or you can ask to get set up on a payment plan. Here, you're gonna be on probation for 2 years. So if you wanna break it up into 24 payments, that's fine. Just talk to them downstairs. They can help you with that.
Much
Any
love.
questions about what you need to do to be successful here?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, well, take care. We'll call you up in just a minute.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Love you, Laura. Sleep sweet.
It's too good to be true. It's fun.
Oh, good morning, Ms. Gordon, or good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon, Your Honor. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'd like to call, oh my goodness, I was looking on the other side. Could we please call Miss Latasha Fernandez case? She's sneaking up on me at the podium here.
All right, Ms. Fernandez, very quiet, Ms. Fernandez here. 23M506.
Katie Wells for the people. Allison Gordon on the behalf of Latasha Fernandez, who appears on summons to my right at the lectern.
All right, good afternoon, Ms. Fernandez.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Gordon, we're set for an appearance of counsel. How did you want to proceed?
Thank you, Your Honor. There was an offer conveyed today from the prosecutor. I had the opportunity to discuss the offer with Ms. Fernandez, but she needs more time to consider it, and I need more time to discuss the offer with the prosecution. I am requesting that this
He finally got into that breakout room, y'all.
be set over approximately 30 to 45 days for an arraignment.
Okay, so like mid-January or so?
That's fine.
Okay, so Ms. Fernandez, I just want to make sure your attorney has enough time to be looking at your case and talking with you about how you want to move forward. So I'm going to give you another court date here in mid-January or so just to make sure there's enough time for all that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
January 10th at 2:30.
What about January 10th at 2:30?
I can accept that.
Does that work for you, Ms. Fernandez?
Yes, it does.
Okay, I will see you back then January 10th at 2:30.
Okay. I'll send you the information you need about the call. Your Honor, I'm sorry, could I have the date?
January 10th at 2:30.
Thank you. If we could also call Mr. Hinton's matters while I'm up here.
Jason Hinton, this is 23M414, 23M408, and 23CR340.
Heather Crowell for the people. Allison Gordon on the behalf of Jason Hinton, who appears to my right at the lectern on bond.
Good afternoon, Mr. Hinton.
Hi, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Gordon, we're set for dispose in all three of these cases. How did you want to proceed?
Thank you, Your Honor. There was an offer conveyed by the prosecution. I did discuss the offer with Mr. Hinton and sent back some mitigation and investigation for the prosecutor to continue to consider. We are continuing our negotiations, and so I am asking for a brief set over so that we can determine whether these cases are bound for a disposition or a trial. I need roughly the same amount of time. I can accept that same January 10th date if the court can offer it.
Okay, and Mr. Hinton, does that date work for you, January 10th at 2:30?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so I'm going to set all three of these cases over. It's for January 10th at 2:30. I will say, Ms. Gordon, these cases are getting a little old, so I think there's no resolution on this next court date. Absent extraordinary circumstances, it's probably time to set it for trial.
I agree, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Hinton, we'll see you back on January 10th at 2:30, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Take care.
I'll call you, okay? If we could actually call a case that's on WebEx, Marissa Olomos.
Okay, let's call Marissa Olomos, 23M558.
Heather Crowell for the people. Allison Gordon on the behalf of Ms. Olomos, who appears via WebEx. Your Honor, there was a motion filed yesterday asking the court's permission for Ms. Olomos to appear via WebEx. The prosecution did not object. She resides out of state in Waterloo, Iowa.
Okay, all right. I didn't see it when I was pressing the docket. It probably just crossed paths yesterday. So I'll go ahead and grant that motion, Ms. Olmos, for you to appear virtually. Ms. Gordon, how do you want to proceed today?
Thank you, Your Honor. I have not yet had the opportunity to receive an offer from the prosecution in this case. It is our first appearance of counsel. I'd ask that this case be set over possibly to January 10th at 2:30 for a disposition hearing. And I would ask that Ms. Olomos be permitted to appear virtually as well. As I mentioned, she's residing out of state.
We have a fingerprint order for her.
Understood. I will work on coordinating her ability to comply with that from out of state. There was some recent discussion on one of my listservs, so I think it can be done. I may just need a court order.
Okay.
I wonder if the court could include in its minute order that she could submit to that fingerprinting at the Waterloo Police Department in Iowa, but I'm happy to file something written if that's better.
Whatever you think. I'm happy to put that in the minute order. I would just say court orders Ms. Olmos to have the fingerprints taken before the court date in any jurisdiction willing to take her fingerprints.
hopefully that'll work, and if it doesn't, I'll file something else.
All right. Okay, so let's try that, Ms. Olmos. I just need to get your fingerprints taken. So make sure that you're in touch with your attorney and she can help you figure out how to get that done out of state.
Okay.
Okay, all right, and then let's set this for a new court date. You want that January 10th date?
That'd be great.
Ms. Olmos, are you available January 10th at 2:30?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm going to see you back online then, January 10th at 2:30.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, take care.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon.
I'm here on Emmanuel Hernandez. It is a Spanish interpreter case. However, if there's no Spanish interpreter available, he's willing to waive it. It's just a set over.
Okay. Well, let me find it here. There we go. All right, Manuel Hernandez, Orinda, 23T3630.
Katie Wells for the people. Jessica Meza on behalf of Mr. Hernandez.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Hernandez.
Buenas tardes.
Hola, buenas tardes.
Says good afternoon. And I will repeat in English and Spanish. At this time, because we're just asking for a continuance, he's willing to waive a Spanish language interpreter because I speak Spanish. El señor está bien renunciando un intérprete para hoy. Cuando pedimos la extensión, ¿no vamos a necesitar intérprete?
No.
Okay. He says it's fine.
Okay, I'm just going to give you a new court date.
And Your Honor, can we get a date in February? I was hearing the January 10th date. With my calendar, I don't know that I'm going to be ready to enter a plea or not enter a plea. Estoy pidiendo una extensión pasado de enero para febrero.
Bien.
Okay, he says that's good.
Okay. February 7th at 2:30? About February 7th at 2:30.
Es un miércoles, el 17 de febrero a las 2:30. ¿Te parece bien?
Sí.
That works good.
So I'll see you back February 7th at 2:30.
Nos vemos a esa hora fecha. Thank you very much, Your Honor. That's all I have. Thank you.
Ms. Meza, I have another case I need ADC.
Okay.
Do I have Pauline Casillas? Pauline Casillas? All right, no, she's not here, so.
Well, the court can email me if she does show up, and maybe we could put it together.
Okay,
thank you.
Sounds good, good to see you. All right, if you're here for court and you're represented by the public defender, please make sure you sign in on the clipboard there on the ledge. Austin Whiting, 23M732.
Katie Wells for the people.
All right, sir, how do you say your name?
Whiting, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Whiting.
How you doing?
I'm good, how are you, sir?
I'm doing okay.
All right, the first thing, Mr. Whiting, is I don't have a report that you went to intervention when you were released from custody.
So when I released, it was on a Friday, and my girlfriend's been really sick since. I wanted to go over there today when I left here.
All right, I'm going to issue a new order, Mr. Whiting. You're going to end up filing a complaint to revoke your probation, or to revoke your bond. So you got to go today by 5 o'clock in order to prevent that from happening. So I'm going to enter a new order today, but you got to be compliant with pretrial services.
Yes, Your Honor. Sorry about that.
This judge does not play around. She doesn't take any excuses. My girlfriend was sick. Well, I'm going to revoke your bond. But you know what? I love her. I absolutely love her. Shout out to Colorado.
All right. So I'm going to enter this new order today. Again, make sure you go by 5 o'clock because I want to make sure they're not issuing a warrant for your arrest.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, so that's the first thing. Then second thing is I've got that you were advised of your rights when you were in custody. So let's talk about how you wanted to move forward with your case.
Okay.
If you wanted to apply for the public defender's office, I could give you some information on how to do that. Or if you wanted some time to hire a private attorney, I could give you some time for that.
Okay, currently I'm able to, file motions for myself, right? Because technically I'm
You
like,
wanted to represent yourself?
no, just currently like while I'm in limbo between like finding an attorney, like am I able to file motions or just
You can file motions on your own,
on my own behalf?
but if you want an attorney to file them for you, you would need to either hire an attorney or apply for the public defender.
Okay, because I applied for the public defender. She said, so me and my girlfriend started a new company, and she said she need pay stubs. So like everything I'm making is like going back in the company, so I don't really have any pay stubs. So I'm just gonna figure it out.
Okay. All right, so I'll give you about maybe a month or so to kind of figure out how you want to proceed with an attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, let's do that. So I'm going to give you another court date. I'm going to set it for an appearance of counsel. It just means we're waiting to see how you decide to move forward with that.
Okay, thank you.
January 17th at 2:30.
Well, that's great.
January 17th at 2:30? All right, so I'm going to write that on this paperwork too. So, Mr. Whiting, I'm going to see you back January 17th at 2:30, right here. And then my clerk is going to call you up in a minute to give you this order. Make sure you go by 5 o'clock today. You got to go in
Okay.
person.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, take care, sir.
Have a good day.
He's trying to decide. Jason Lopez? Mr. Lopez, I'm going to take a green sheet of paper there on the ledge that goes over your rights. I want you to read over your rights, and I'll call you up in a minute.
Look who's back, all.
Oh, he's right here. Sixto Rodriguez Duran. All right, sir, I'm going to have you also take that green sheet of paper that goes over your rights. Have a seat, read over your rights. I'll call you back up in a minute. Matthew Walker. Matthew Walker. And Mr. Datz, I know you're talking, I don't want to interrupt, but before I call a longer case, do you want me to call Mr. Abel, or do you need for a minute?
No, the district attorney's diligently preparing some
Okay.
paperwork.
Okay, I just know you've been waiting for a while, so I don't want to keep you waiting. Okay, let's call Raymond Brown then. This is 23M611.
Heather, turn over to the people.
And Mackenzie Russell on behalf of Mr. Brown.
All right, hello again, Mr. Brown.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing the same. How are you doing?
I'll be better tomorrow when I get out of here.
Okay, well, let's talk about resolving this case here in Broomfield. So in this case, it looks like if you plead guilty to attempted theft, then the people would dismiss the rest of those charges, and the people are just looking to close your case out, giving you credit for the time you've served or a fine. So is that your understanding of the agreement that you've reached?
Yes, ma'am.
Has anybody made you any other promises to get you to plead guilty?
No.
Has anybody forced, threatened, or coerced you to enter into this agreement?
No.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol or any medication?
No, ma'am.
Are you thinking clearly?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. All right, the paperwork I have in front of me goes over all of your rights. Did you have enough time to go through this paperwork with your attorney?
Yes, I did.
And do you understand your rights?
Yes.
You understand you're giving up those rights in order to enter into this agreement today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then, Mr. Brown, to the charge of attempted theft, how do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
All right, I will accept your guilty plea. I find it to be knowingly and voluntarily entered into with the assistance of competent counsel. For the people for sentencing?
Thank you, Your Honor. The people just asked the court to accept the proposed disposition, and it does look like we are not seeking restitution. I don't know if that was on the paperwork. It is. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Curlin. Ms. Russell for the defense?
Yes, Your Honor, and Mr. Brown, I wasn't sure if you were able to hear that. She just reiterated that they're not seeking restitution.
Yeah, because nothing was
You heard that?
stolen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. All right, Ms. Russell?
Yes, Your Honor, in lieu of a fine, we're asking to close this case with 14 days of credit. Mr. Brown has been in custody for longer than that, but he signed a PR bond on the 16th of October.
There's a song like that, Palmyra.
All right, Mr. Brown, anything you want me to know, sir?
No, that's it. But thank you, Your Honor. I'm sorry for causing confusion.
That's all right, sir. I just hope when you're released, you move forward in a different direction here.
Yes, I will.
Good. All right, then here, Mr. Brown, on the charge of attempted theft, I am going to impose 14 days of jail. I'm going to give you credit for the 14 days that you served. I'm not going to impose any fine. I'm going to waive the waivable court costs. There's some court costs I can't waive, sir. I think it's generally about $50 or $60. So you'll be responsible for getting up here to Broomfield to take care of the court costs that I can't waive, but otherwise I'm going to waive everything else, and we're just going to close your case out.
Okay, can I ask you one question? Would I be able to get my weed back from evidence?
Get your what?
My weed, my marijuana?
I don't know. You'd have to talk to your attorney or the DA's office. I don't know if that's being held as evidence in this case. I don't know the amount of it. You'd have to probably come in here to the police department to figure out the status of that.
The judge is just flummoxed.
Oh, okay.
She has no idea where to go with that.
All right, Mr. Brown, we're going to close your case out. Good luck to you. Take care, sir.
All right, fine.
All right. So there you have the whole docket and all of the crazy things that I saw that I just had to share with you because holy wow, that is one odd duck. I still don't know what he was doing with trying to get his hair to, do that V-shaped thing and the creepy looks into the camera and the checking his teeth out and, doing that. He was just weird. I'm sorry, he was. He's just weird. Icky is a good word for him. Yeah, that was just, he was out there. Yep. Yeah, he went there. He did that. We all laughed too. All right. Let's see what I got. Yeah, but he thought that he knew everything, and he thought he was just chef's kiss of a man. Yeah, when really he was Chef Boyardee. Yes. Oh my God, I'm so glad I wasn't the only one that saw it. Yep. All right. I've got some good stuff. You know what?
Mr. Paul,
Yes.
I have your client here.
What's that?
And I have your client here at court security.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Fantastic. Amy, can I get a breakout room, please?
All right, good afternoon.
Hi,
We
Robert.
are on the
Hi, Philip.
record in state of Kansas versus Jeremiah Williams. Is that Mr. Williams with you at court security?
Your Honor.
All right. He is appearing by Zoom separately from counsel, Mr. Paw. Appearing on behalf of the state is Ms. Norris, and we have Ms. Seeley, who prepared the pre-sentence investigation report, as well as Ms. Ashenfelter, who's appearing on behalf of Community Corrections.
And let me just say, this guy has irked Judge Satterfield. Irked her to the nth degree. She is over him.
We are scheduled for sentencing today. In this matter, it is 2023 CR 218. I received the PSI that was submitted November 13th of 2023. So that would have been on Monday. This indicates on a level 9 theft that he has a criminal history score of C, which is one person and one non-person felony. He has a fairly extensive record, as I recall, and he has some special rules because he was on bond in 2022 CR 339, and he's got a number of OKCF, which I assume is Oklahoma, cases that are pending that I'm not sure what the status is. His LSIR score was 32. And it shows that he hasn't done any jail time on this case. And last but not least, I had sent to me from Ms. Norris's office a victim impact statement from Deborah and Natalie, and I've looked at that. So, Mr. Paw, have you received the PSI?
I have.
And have you reviewed the criminal history score with your client?
I have.
And do you have any objection to criminal history score C?
No.
All right. And did you get a copy of the victim impact statement?
I did.
Okay. So 2 CR 339. So he has been convicted of 22 CR 339.
Yes.
Since our plea, and that was for unlawful possession of methamphetamine paraphernalia.
Correct.
And has he been sentenced?
Yes, he was sentenced to drug treatment. He was SB 123 eligible, Judge.
Okay. So he was a border box, and that judge made the border box findings. Does that sound right?
It would appear to be. I do not have that journal entry. Somebody else can speak to that, Judge. But he.
So Christy, is he reporting to Community Corrections, and is he a Senate bill person?
Yes, Your Honor. Believe it or not, he's actually on my caseload, and he is a Senate bill client.
Okay. And how long have you had him?
He's been on our program since February, I believe, but he's been on my caseload since June.
Okay. No revocations at this point?
He's had some hiccups, but he's doing really well overall.
Okay. And what about first of all, Ms. Norris, do you object to the court finding?
I do not, Your Honor.
Okay. And were you aware when you did the plea agreement that there were going to be some special rules that would apply to his case?
Your Honor, I don't really remember discussing special rules specifically, although I think that we did know that he might have had at least one case that he was on bond for at the same time.
Okay. And a good idea that he had quite an extensive history. All right. So would somebody share with me what the status of all these Oklahoma cases are?
I don't know, Judge. Mr. Williams would have to address that, Judge.
And Your Honor, Ms. Seeley from Court Services may have an update for the court as well.
Okay, I'll start with Ms. Seeley. Do you have any kind of knowledge about the types of charges and the status of those and court appearances or anything like that?
Yes, Your Honor. If you note the pending information section on the page, it notes all of the cases. There's, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 felony cases, 2 misdemeanor cases, and he has a standing court date of December 13th.
Of what?
December 13th. It was continued. It was to be in November, but they've continued it out. I've been
Good night, Linda Ebert. Love you and good luck at your appointment.
in contact with Oklahoma to make sure they didn't turn into convictions yet. So
Canadian County, Oklahoma. That is a lot of pending cases. So
Judge,
this was alleged to have occurred on 11/23 of 22. It appears that most of these cases were in 2021. And a few of them, yeah, it looks like all the dates of offense were in 2021 and or 2020. So, Mr. Paul, would you know, or would your client like to advise the court as to how these cases came about? In other words, were they charged and he fled the state of Oklahoma? Did they charge these later after?
I don't believe he's ever fled the state of Oklahoma, Judge. I think I don't, other than that, I don't know. Maybe Mr. Williams can address the court for those answers.
No, ma'am. I did not flee the state of Oklahoma. They picked up the charges later. And I posted bond back in April of this year on these charges, but they added charges when I was in jail, there in Canadian County. And I didn't even know that I was being charged, but I am currently working with my attorney, Chris Box, out of Oklahoma. They know I'm currently in Senateville. I'm going to court every month, and I'm actually getting a charge dropped. I'm getting some charges dropped out of Oklahoma with my paid attorney. I'm not for sure exactly. I go back to court December 13th, but I've never fled. No, ma'am.
Are you working?
Yes, ma'am. I work at Hog Wild Pit Barbecue here in El Dorado.
The judge, he states he's been there for about 2 years now.
All right. Recommendations from the state?
Yes, Your Honor, state would be recommending regarding count 1, the felony theft, 11 months in the Department of Corrections. Defendant would be able to earn up to 20% good time credit and would be subject to 12 months post-release if necessary. He has earned no jail time credit. Special rule number 10, as previously noted, does apply. Ask the court to place him on 12 months community corrections, probation with all standard and PSI recommended probation conditions. Says the costs and fees of the action to the defendant. Court will need to address court-appointed attorney's fees and the bid's application fee. State is not requesting a fine. There was no total amount requested for restitution. We would ask for no contact with the victim, and we would ask that this case run consecutive with 22 CR 339, since he was on bond at the time.
All right, Mr. Paul.
Judge, Ms. Norris basically outlined our plea agreement to suggest the low end of the box, which would be 11 months, follow the presumption. There is no restitution. Judge, just as Ms. Ashenfelter said, that he is doing well on Senate Bill 123. I think Mr. Williams would tell you that, you know, even though he has a extensive criminal history, to put him in the C box, most of this has been part of his substance abuse problems, and it is being addressed through 1-2-3 treatment. Judge, we would ask that you put him on probation for 12 months, make that consecutive and make him do his mandatory drug treatment. There is no restitution, and we would just ask you to sentence him accordingly, Your Honor. Oh, and Judge, since I was court appointed, Mr. Williams took responsibility of this case very quickly. I only have approximately about $300 or so in attorney's fees. I know that working at Hog Wild, he makes $10 an hour, and with the fines and fees in 22 CR or 339 and the court costs and fees on this one, Judge, I would not want to set him up for failure by tacking on another $400 or so in bids, application, and attorney's fees. So I would ask that those be waived.
With the cost of what?
With the cost of his previous case, with the cost of this case, and the cost of an additional approximately $400 in attorneys and bids, I don't want to set him up for failure, Judge, because he only makes $10 an hour. That's what I was saying.
Ms. Norris, is there any restitution?
No, Your Honor. We did get the victim impact statement back from the victim, and they did not request a restitution amount, which we were aware of prior to getting the filled out victim impact statement back, from what I understand.
Okay, because I've got two statements here. I've got one from, well, I guess this one was 11/6/23.
Or a felon, April. Or a felon.
Is that there was $4,000 value of stolen items not recovered and or value of property damage. $4,000 is written here.
Judge, the item was recovered.
Okay. And apparently then I guess there was no damage or nothing that was claimed.
Your Honor, I don't know for sure, but they did not request any amounts.
Okay.
As far as restitution.
All right, Mr. Williams, what would you like to say with regard to your sentencing?
Ma'am, I would just, like to say that Senate bill has truly turned me around.
So here's just a thought, and I might be wrong on this, but could it be something like how servers can make less because they get tips? So maybe the $10 an hour is $10 plus tips.
My drug problem is pretty bad, and through Senate bill, I'm learning how to deal with everyday life without substance abuse and to be a different person. I just ask that no matter what happens, be sentenced fairly, and thank you for your time.
Well, I think you can probably tell by now, I'm not very happy with your record at all.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I understand.
And you're not really somebody that I want to put on probation. That's the recommendation, and that's, you are presumptive probation, but I have a potential out because you are on bond. Now, ordinarily, most of us judges only apply that special rule for the most part when you are on a felony probation or parole, not necessarily a case that you haven't been convicted and you're on bond for, but it does give us an opportunity to consider it.
That was the judge saying now is about the time that you get scared. Because I don't have to follow this recommendation. And I'm strongly considering not. See what I mean by he irked her? To flat out start the conversation with, I don't want you on probation. Oh no, she wants him behind bars.
And you have earned it through the years. So answer me a few questions. First of all, what brought you to Butler County?
My brother lives in Wichita, and I didn't see myself going anywhere back home because I had a super bad drug habit. I knew everybody, and I was just trying to change. And I really feel like I've been trying to do that ever since I got sentenced back in April to Senate bill.
But how did you end up in Butler? You went to Andover to live, is that it?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you still live in Andover?
Ma'am, I live in the sober living house here in El Dorado. Second chance.
Okay. And then, so your attorney said you've worked, I know there's more than one Hog Wild, but you've worked for El Dorado Hog Wild for 2 years. Is that right?
It's right around 1.5 years, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So when you lived in Andover, you would drive over here to go to work at Hog Wild for $10 an hour?
Yes, ma'am.
How'd that happen?
Well, my girlfriend, she was the assistant manager there, and it was just easy to get a job there. And I am currently looking for better employment at the moment. But for right now, that's steady income to make sure that I'm doing all the correct things to be able to pay for Senate bill and things.
I'm not being critical of your employment. I'm just trying to have things make sense. Trying to connect the dots as to, because frankly, you got a lot of stuff from Oklahoma. And so then now you've got stuff in Butler County. And I'm just trying to figure out kind of how you got from point A to point B is all.
Y'all see the grumpy man pop in on the bottom? And you notice what it says next to his name? Victim. But this is going to take you on a little bit of a ride. The judge thought nothing made sense yet. Just wait for a few minutes.
Yeah, my brother lives in Wichita, and I met my girlfriend, and I started staying her with outside of Andover and started working with her at Hog Wild, and that's how I got here.
Okay. How long have you been at the sober living?
I've been there going on 3 months now.
He looks like he's sizing him up.
Going on 3 months.
Why? I guess that's the other thing I don't like. So generally with somebody like you, with your history, and with what all's going on with you, if I follow the recommendations and the guideline sentence and give you community corrections, then normally I would order that you at least do some time in the county jail as a condition to that felony probation. I can give you up to 60 days legally. But ordinarily, I would have thought with your record and charges that you would have some jail time that you did on this case. But it looks like you went in on June 15th and you were bonded out on June 15th.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah,
I was in jail from January, Friday the 13th. And they brought this up on me on May. After I got out of the county jail, And I had no clue. This happened back in November of last year, and I was in the county jail for 7 months, and I got sentenced, Bill. I was in treatment, and then they brought up a warrant for this four-wheeler while I was in treatment.
Okay.
And then
All right.
I got,
So you have done some considerable amount of time in the county jail prior to starting your Senate bill treatment.
yes, ma'am. I was
All
in there
right.
for 7 months.
Not for my case.
And
So,
Your Honor, I sent you a chat if you could review that before you.
no, I do see, no, I won't look at a chat. Never have. It would be ex parte. I'm not looking at a chat. I do see that the victim just joined us.
And Your Honor, my chat to you was just that he had joined and wishes to address the court, because
Okay.
we were in the middle of a conversation with the defendant.
Okay, well, you have to do a chat to Amy for stuff like that, please. I do see that you are on here, Mr. Natali, and that you did a victim impact statement. I've read, it's pretty brief. I've read it. Looks like last Thanksgiving, your motorcycle, which I'm sure is your pride and joy, was stolen from your residence in Andover, or thereabouts. So, Mr. Williams is here to be sentenced for that crime.
It's actually that his lawyer doesn't know a whole lot about it. In the beginning, the judge was asking very pointed, direct questions to the attorney. And the attorney kept answering, well, someone else will have to speak on that. Well, maybe so-and-so knows something about that. Maybe Mr. Williams can speak on that. I don't know how or why, but the lawyer has no clue about the details of this case. I have no idea. But no, that's not the judge's design. That's that the lawyer is not representing his client properly, in my opinion.
I'm sorry that we're not in the courtroom. I'm not sure how this case ended up on Zoom, actually. Had I seen the PSI before I set the case, it would have been in person in my courtroom, because that's ordinarily what I do with sentencings. But at any rate, he is at the courthouse right now, and of course, so am I, and so is Ms. Norris. Is there anything that you would like to say to the court, or what would you like to say with regard to sentencing today?
Well, Your Honor, to start off, I wasn't claimed the victim until just a couple of months ago. We had the victim wrong. So therefore, I've never been able to speak up or fill out a statement until recently. On account of that, I've been thinking about Mr. Williams went through a plea bargain, and I, kind of had a question as if I was the victim and he had a plea bargain, would I be notified of that and be able to speak on that or refuse a plea bargain, which I didn't, because I was not the victim at the time.
Oh, okay, because Damon Riggle was listed as the victim.
That's right, and he was living on my property, taking care of the property in exchange for having a place to put his camper and stay out there. He did some work around there for me. It was a win-win for both of us.
Okay, so first of all, he pled as charged. So it wasn't really a plea agreement other than, and it doesn't sound like their sentencing recommendations were part of a plea agreement either.
Okay.
So there is a victim rights bill in this state. And basically what that says is that victims are to be notified of proceedings, and that they're to be advised when there are plea agreements, but they don't have to consent. They don't have to agree. They just have to be given notice. So, and they need to be given notice of sentencing so they can appear before the court, ask for restitution, or make a victim impact statement like you have today. So I understand that when there's something erroneous or something that transpires that continues to cause problems in a case such as you not being the properly named victim, that can adversely, in fact, affect your perception, I guess I should say, and how the case goes. The county attorney's office, I have to address that or apologize for that, but I can tell you that he did plead as charged in the case. Then we have to follow the Kansas sentencing guidelines on all cases. And so that's why we have a PSI.
Well, I did put in on his charges the last court date. I think it was in September, maybe, when he was charged for theft.
Yes, and he has pled to that, and that's what he's being sentenced.
And I thought I had wanted to press charges as in criminal trespassing and criminal damage to property, because he really jacked up my four-wheeler, in which you said your beloved motorcycle. That thing it was my brother's, and he passed away in 18. It's not the money value of the machine, it's the sentimental value and the distraught on Thanksgiving Day, no less, that I have a phone call saying my quad has been stolen. Well, somebody can steal $4,000, but somebody steals your brother's beloved machine that he spent hours on is terrible. In which it really ruined Thanksgiving all in all, even though we found it on that day on the property. Well, I guess it says grandpa's, I don't know, property. That was a relief, but still Thanksgiving Day is ruined. My turkey I had in the smoker's crisp, it does, all that stuff doesn't matter. And as far as restitution goes,
Well, it does matter. It does matter. That's why I'm wanting to hear from you, because it's important that he hear, no matter what, the impact that he has on others when he commits crimes and doesn't think about anybody or anything but himself. So if it was Thanksgiving and you had a turkey you were tending to and looking forward to a nice family Thanksgiving, and you had to deal with this, then it does matter. It does matter.
Well, okay, and I do agree. It was really uncool. And
My heart goes out to this guy. It really does. And think about this. He was victimized not only by the man who stole, and I use that term loosely, not only was he victimized by this drug addict that stole his brother's quad, who his brother passed away in 2018. So it's really a piece of his brother for him. And the guy damaged it and did damage to his property in stealing it. Not only did all of that happen, but this man was not even named as the victim, because someone who was just happening to live on his property at that time got put down as the victim. Basically, a tenant got put down as the victim. So this man was victimized by the state as well as by the person who stole his brother's quad. And so he's never got the feeling that he got justice, ever. So the guy spent 7 months in jail. It doesn't matter, because he wasn't allowed to have a say in that. He wasn't allowed to be at the sentencing. He wasn't allowed to make his statement. And those things mean something. Yep. This is that judge. Yep. That people in court so kindly reminded me of who she was. And it's funny because I hadn't seen her for forever, ever. And then immediately after people in court had showed me her 80s like outfit. It was like a day or two later, she popped up in my feed on a docket that I routinely watch. So I don't know how I missed her or what happened, but yeah, Becky D, he is. And the good thing is as much as it sucks that it got damaged and everything like that, but there's hope that maybe he can make memories, putting it back together and replacing the parts and fixing it back up to the standards that it was when his brother had it. And maybe that'll be like a sense of comfort for him that he's restoring his brother's quad. I don't know. My heart goes out to him, and I just pray for some semblance of peace for this man, because so far he's got neither peace nor justice, and that's not fair. Yeah. Yeah, he had that mean mugging look, but can you blame him?
Having family over and spending time with dealing with this, you're right. Being that I had just become a victim only a couple of months ago, to get restitution, I would have had to take off of work. I was told the closest Yamaha dealer to get a proper estimate of damages is in Heston, Kansas. So that would have cost me a whole day of work, plus a diagnostic fee, plus fuel, which is diesel, and I wouldn't get any of that in the restitution, but I just didn't have time to do that. We're very busy with what we do, and I can't just take off and drive an hour north of here to Heston, Kansas and spend a whole day doing that. So therefore, that's the reason why I didn't put anything in for restitution, even though my quad is heavily damaged. The ignition, the choke, the exhaust, it's got an axle seal that's blown out. I could go on, but then again, I don't know if Mr. Williams would ever be able to repay this. So I guess I'll just absorb that and fix it myself. The question I have, and I'm sorry, I thought court was at 1:30 today. I didn't.
Did you guys see when he said, I'll just absorb that because I don't know if Mr. Williams will ever be able to repay that? Did you see that comment hit Mr. Williams? Like, he had his head down like this, and he looked up, and this look of actual shame was over his face. It really was. That comment cut like a knife, as it should. Because he realizes in that moment, this guy thinks I'm a piece of shit, and he doesn't think I'm ever going to be anything more than a piece of shit. Even though I'm trying to do better. It falls on deaf ears. It doesn't matter. I'll never be able to do anything to be anything to this man. I've already ruined everything for that. And the shame hit him. And I'm glad it hit him. Because maybe feeling shame like that is what it's going to take to keep him sober.
No, is it one?
That's all right.
What is he facing as far as the jail or probation, or what are we looking at?
Okay. So the Kansas sentencing guidelines are a mathematical, basically chart and computation based on severity of offense and based on criminal history. And there are zones that are presumptive probation and zones that are presumptive prison. And it's the combination of those things, but there are exceptions and special rules. Such as whether or not a person was on probation or parole at the time of the offense, or whether or not it was committed with a firearm. Bond can be a special condition. So there are exceptions, but his presumptive sentence is 11 to 13 months with the standard range of 12 months with the Department of Corrections on this felony theft. And so
Department
if
of
it didn't
Correction.
have special rules, then I would be required to give him probation, and the maximum I could give him as far as incarceration is 60 days in the county jail as a condition of felony probation. So that is kind of where we stand. But he was on felony bond in some cases, so there is a special rule, and so that's what I'm trying to determine today, what I'm going to do.
Well, and I'll respect any decision that you make. However, with it being on Thanksgiving Day, with it being my brother's squad, and now I'm distraught, worried about I'll never see it again, and that was his pride and joy. I would like to request, as the victim, the maximum you can give him. And I would like to see him go to a county jail and sit there and think about it. And Mr. Williams, I hear you're being sober these days. I commend you for that. However, I would like for Mr. Williams to spend a fair amount of time in jail.
Okay, so I'm just gonna tell you that here's my current dilemma that I'm trying to think through here. So the fact that there isn't specific jail time attributed to this case is because it was going to his other case that he was on bond for. So he spent 7 months before he got probation and started this treatment program and is in currently a halfway house. So I'll be truthful with folks that have spent a lot of time in jail and have a record. The impact of now taking him and putting him in jail for 60 days and affecting his treatment and his current probation, and then putting him back on probation doesn't make a lot of sense to me, just because 60 days in the county jail, he's done plenty of time in jail. It's not really going to be that impactful to Kim in particular. So honestly, I'm looking at prison or ordering that he continue doing what he's doing today. I think what I would like to do is continue the disposition of this case today and let me think about it some more until after we see what happens with the Oklahoma case. Because he's on probation right now anyway, same kind of probation he'd get if I gave him community corrections today. He's already on that. He's already out of jail. He's already done considerable county jail time. I want to see what Oklahoma does because, frankly, Mr. Williams, if they send you to prison or convict you, I don't know why they wouldn't, with your history there and the cases that you have there, why they wouldn't incarcerate you, other than they may say, look, he's Kansas problem now. We got him out of Oklahoma and that's all we care about. I have no idea what that judge or that jurisdiction is going to do with you on these cases. But if you go to prison in any of their cases, then it's going to disrupt your probation now anyway. Just as me, frankly, sending you right to the county jail right now with work release, which I could. I'm just not ready to make a decision whether it should be prison or probation and or whether there should be any county jail time. I don't want you to lose the bed that you have in the halfway house right now. And I don't know what's going to happen in Oklahoma. And if I put you in custody or send you to prison now, you're going to have to make your way to Oklahoma at some point. So I think I want to, only because you apparently are satisfying Miss Ashenfelter in terms of your reporting, your working, your treatment, your housing, and you haven't committed any offenses since you've been out. Am I going to let you continue with your community corrections on your other case, not on this case yet, on your other case until I see what happens with you in Oklahoma.
Y'all, she is shook. You don't often see this judge shook, but she is shook. Like, she does not know which way to go with this. You can tell which way she wants to go. But she doesn't know, because she doesn't want to set his treatment back. But she definitely wants him punished, as he should be punished.
Because I can assure you, if they send you to prison, I will be sending you to prison in this case as well. And I'll also tell you that if you do get any kind of probation on this case, it's going to be a very short leash. And I'm going to remember, and you're not going to have any margin or room for errors at all. None. So keep that in mind right now.
Yes, ma'am.
Because if you have a dirty UA, or you don't show up to work, or you don't show up to Ms. Ashenfelter's office, or you decide to stop at the liquor store and grab a 6-pack, or you do anything, you jaywalk, I'm going to find out about it. It's going to make a difference when I sentence you what I'm going to do.
Yes, ma'am.
So what I would like for you to do, Mr. Natelli, is to talk to Ms. Norris in her office and her victim witness coordinator, and to have them try to further explain to you what's happened thus far, what's happened today, and what's going to happen later. I'm going to continue this sentencing to the first of the year, and I'm going to see where we're at. I'm going to make a decision. So I haven't not sent him to prison, but I'm not making a decision to send him today. I'm going to give him a little bit of time to see what path he takes and what happens in Oklahoma, and then we'll come back together, and I will have had some more time to think about it and impose the sentence at that point. Okay?
And keeping in mind,
if that sounds fair to you at all. I certainly hope it doesn't ruin this Thanksgiving for you.
well, that's next week, so
I know it.
I think we'll be okay. I just want to, keeping in mind that the 7 months I think you said he has spent in jail, and you have said he has already spent a considerable amount of time in jail, but that's not for my case.
I understand. And I could still decide to give him 60 days and decide if he gets work release, but make him do 60 days in the county jail on your case. Yeah. I just usually use that time for folks that I'm trying to make an impact. If they haven't done, like, say I sentenced him in custody, he was granted probation, he had been doing 7 months, I wouldn't add 60 days to that, because when I give that time, it's meant to make an impression. And frankly, it's just my experience that once people have done that much time, they can do another 60 days pretty easily. So,
but that's okay. That's okay.
Okay.
And
it's not off the table. So talk to Ms. Norris, and I'm going to give a new date, but I want to do this all in person in the courtroom. And, but Mr. Natelli, we have a way to do hybrid hearings.
Saying you want him in person for the sentencing is never a good sign, and it usually means the case is going to involve those. And she is trying to accommodate the victim. I'll lean a little bit on that for her. But she has limitations of what she can do. And he was just recently named the victim, like I had mentioned before. So some of the things that would be available for him, that ship has sailed. But she's trying to give him everything that she can.
So again, talk to Ms. Norris' office. if we can accommodate you to participate by Zoom so that you don't have to miss work or have to come into the courtroom, and that's your desire, let her know and we'll make accommodations for you. But Mr. Pa, I don't know what you've got going on. I'm not sure if you have another hearing today, which is why we did Zoom. I have no idea, but I do want to conduct this. It's serious enough with Mr. Williams. It's an important decision that I know affects his life and it affects other people involved in this case. So I do want to do it in person. Is there anything you want to state for the record at this point, Mr. Pa?
Judge, I would state that at sentencing, I mean, when he did his plea, this was set by Zoom, Judge. I don't know why it was. It just was. In person is fine. Judge, I don't have any objections to, if you're asking me if I have an objection, I don't have an objection to hold off sentencing at this point.
Okay. I didn't know if you want to make a record objection to my postponing this, an objection to resetting.
No, because you're not taking him into custody today, Judge. So that's why I'm not objecting.
No, I think you're right in comparing her to Stevens, in the respect that when her mind's made up, it's made up. And I don't think that there's anything a lawyer could say. I really don't. I don't think a lawyer's opinion on this would sway her one way or another. She does not like this guy. She doesn't like what he did. And she doesn't care. She's done. But I do give her props that she is wanting to reset this out. It gives her time to think on it, maybe a little time to calm down about the facts. Now that she has all the facts. Remember, going into this, she thought he did no time. That pissed her off. He did 7 months. And though it wasn't 7 months specifically for this charge, it was 7 months related to this case. So, and that's another factor that she has to take into consideration. Aw, thanks for coming out tonight, Food Fairy. Thank you. And I hope you sleep well. Much love.
Okay. Ms. Ashenfelter, how long is this ability to be in this halfway house extended to Mr. Williams?
Your Honor, he can be there as long as he wishes to be.
Okay.
And it's actually a requirement of the other case that I have with him.
Okay, very good. All right, hold on just a minute, please. Mr. Pa, I didn't mean to assume that we were, I guess I did kind of accommodating you, and I apologize for that because I have no basis for saying that. We can't get into the system and see what the notes were. Most of my cases today were originally, those that weren't continued were all in person. This is just one of them that
I guess I'm special, Judge.
Yeah.
You took a liking to me today for some reason.
Who knows? I'm pretty sure I thought this was a level 9, and most level 9s are presumptive probation, and I did not know his history or the fact that he had Oklahoma cases or any of that. So anyway, it's what I did, but I would prefer that he not be at the courthouse without being in the courtroom.
Good.
And I will accommodate the victim though. All right, so I'm looking at January the 17th.
Afternoon.
I have anything after 10 o'clock.
I've got it written
Amy,
down.
do you have anything written down that I maybe don't have in my book?
The only hearing I have set on January 17th is a 9 o'clock.
That's what I have, and it's live and it's a sentencing.
Correct.
So anytime after that during that day is fine, Mr. Pa.
First one after lunch, Your Honor.
Okay, 1 o'clock. How
Yeah.
about 1:30? How about 1:30?
That's fine. January 17th at 1:30.
Okay. That way, if Mr. Natali wants to appear by Zoom to observe, He is, we've got time to get that all set up after the lunch hour. So,
Good.
all right. So Mr. Williams, in
Yes,
my
ma'am.
case, you're going to be out. You're going to be fortunate enough to be out over the holidays. But depending on what happens to you on December 15th in Oklahoma, will be up to them. Please notify your attorney if they take you into custody for any reason at that time. And you are stuck there. Otherwise, I expect to see you Wednesday, January the 17th at 1:30 for your sentencing. Progress is in your best interest, and I don't expect you to ruin this holiday season for anyone. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we will reconvene to complete the sentencing phase of this case on Wednesday, January 17th at 1:30 in the courtroom A at this courthouse. All right.
Yes.
Anything further, Ms. Norris? Anything you want to state for the record or anything additional?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, and then you'll visit with Mr. Natali, and then you'll talk to him about the next court date and how he wants to appear if he does.
Our office will handle all that, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I've got that added to my calendar. And yes, Filipinos, I have seen those. I can't use them. The spine injury is in my lumbar where the nerve cluster is pinched. And if I get the lumbar supports of any kind, if I sit in chairs that have lumbar supports built in, I get insane shooting rapid fire jolts from the nerve cluster that's pinched because there's pressure being put on it more than the pressure of the injury. So I can't have anything that's lumbar support. Got to be straight backed. And that's also why like my posture sucks. Because if I sit upright with great posture, I put pressure on where the injury is and I get jolted repeatedly. So it sucks, but it's just one of the things that I had to learn to live with and had to learn workarounds for how to sit and how to breathe and how to cough and how to pee. I still haven't learned everything. Trust me, I still mess it up. But, I do the best I can and life goes on. So, wow. I believe it. Just like Maricopa County, Sheriff Joe Arpaio. But he's a media hog. I've heard stories on Sheriff Joe about him being a media hog. I don't know if they're true or not, but they sure sound true. We'll just put it that way. Yeah, that was pretty cool. You are such a sweetheart. You really are. I absolutely love you. And I said, if you and Palmyra meet up when he goes to Australia, I want a picture of the two of you together. I really do. That would absolutely make my heart swell to see two of my besties together, sharing a drink. Give them some of the good whiskey for me. Oh God, I would love to go to Australia. Absolutely love it. I love the accent and the people are so unique and like they just don't give a fuck. They're great. I love them. When I first started watching YouTube instead of TV, I got hooked on this content creator called Vinci. I loved Vinci. He did Reddit reads where like he would go through Reddit and find all of the like am I the asshole posts and oh golly, I don't even remember anymore. Like the Karen posts, and he would read the stories and he would read the posts from all the different Reddit threads. And that's where I started on YouTube, like watching videos. And I used to hate content creators, like absolutely hated them. The voices drove me nuts on a lot of them. Like kids watching them, I never understood. You know, they'd watch people play video games and talk through the video game, and all it did was annoy me. I had to like leave the room or tell them to turn it down or tell them to put headphones in because it just drove me nuts. And it was always the person talking was I couldn't handle their voice. And then I started watching Vinci, and his voice was soothing and I would fall asleep to it. I absolutely loved watching him. And now I'm one of them. Just doing it a little different. But yeah, Vinci, if you ever see this, much love, buddy. You got me hooked on YouTube instead of TV. You're the reason I don't have a cable bill. And I still come across your shorts and watch your videos every once in a while, just not as dedicatedly as I once was. But if you go back and you watch Vinci videos from 2 years ago, you will see my name come up on the screen repeatedly. He used to always post my comments. Well, not on the screen, but like comment of the day, because he always did comment of the day. So you'd see me come up for comment of the day a lot. Yeah. I loved Vinci. I absolutely loved Vinci. I'm breaking my heart there. I'm breaking my heart. Duct tape. Oh, you're so cute. Oh, I feel that comment. Mm-hmm. No, yeah, trust me, I keep them right next to me. I do glass etchings. That is so cool. I wonder if I can take the pictures and make a montage to show you some of them. If I can put them into a video format, because I can only like play a video on here without like showing my entire screen. I love glass etching. It's so soothing. But I don't use creams or anything like that. I have a pen, not electric pen, not battery operated, nothing like that. I have a pen with a lobster claw grasp that holds the diamond tip. And I just literally sit there and scratch the glass. Hundreds of thousands of tiny little scratches. And I had someone pay me for one of them that they had asked me to make of their son. But other than that, I've only given them away as gifts. And let me tell you, they're pretty neat. I donated 5 of them to Whitetails Unlimited for them to auction off at one of their banquet events. And I got put into a drawing for a rifle, and I didn't win. I had 3 of the 6 entries. I had half the entries in the little freaking bucket, and I still didn't win. Oh my goodness. Oh, that would be so cool. Can you blame me? Blame me. Well, you guys, oh, excuse me. I am sorry. But it is 2 a.m. And it's 10 minutes to 3 hours. And I don't think that I have anything under 10 minutes to share with you. Everything I do is like an hour long, close to an hour long. Other than there's one that's a real downer, and I'm not gonna end my stream with a real downer. I'm just looking through my clips right now. Yeah, I got some boring stuff, but I don't have anything that's good to end on beyond what we already did. So I think this is a nice place to end it. I've never seen a magpie. I've never seen a kangaroo. Well, okay, I guess no, I haven't. I was gonna say maybe at a zoo, but I don't recall ever seeing one. You're gonna have so much fun. Just wait till you see a huntsman spider in the toilet. Too bad, Emily. And that's where I'm gonna go now too. I love you. I love every one of you so much. And I can't wait until tomorrow when I get to see you all again. I'll be back. So you all sleep sweet. Come on, Mousy Mouse. Much love.